What's up, dude? What's up, dude? We're in here, bro. We're live in the flesh, dude. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Let's go, dude. Let's go. What's up, what's up, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What? Yeah, here we are. About to go down another rabbit hole now. What? Yeah. Who's up in here? Who is up in here? Anybody up in here yet? All righty, nobody's here yet. Okay. I'm going to come right over here and just grab this link like this and hit this like that. Hit that like this and that, this, that, and the other. And then put it like that and 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 put it like that. What's up? Lawrence is in the house already. What's up, dude? What's up, dude? What's up, dude? Distribution. Share to channel. Oh, done. Bang. Should have shared it to my chat, to my Facebook group. It should have. It should have shared it. What's up, Lawrence? Hell yeah, dude. Here we are. What's up, Stacy? What's good? Big Tree Chad's in the house. What's up, dude? Big Tree Chad is in the house. Let's go, dude. Let's go. All right, guys. Kevin is a human. What's up, bro? Nice to see you, player. Hell yeah. Yeah, I got them drying upstairs. I actually just rinsed out all of the dye on them. I washed them and now they're having to dry, and then I'll put the stencil on and then I'll ship it out to you, bro. Ship it out to you, bros. Okay, what's up, dude? We got some stuff to get into today, bro. As you can probably see on the title of the video, we're going to be talking a little bit about some woo-woo. Not woo-woo, actually. We've got some stuff to talk about. Do you guys know who Matthias De Stefano is? He's a channeler, which means like he channels things from other dimensions. We're going to watch a clip from him. We're going to get into this Candace Owens, the bride of George Farmer, rabbit hole towards the end, bro. We got some clips to go over today on the old X feed. You know what I'm saying? We got one from Julie and Dory. We got something about Pfizer admitting something. Another one from Danny Jones, which will then lead us into where we're headed. And then we're going to get up on into this rabbit hole towards the end. But before we begin, how are y'all doing today? What's going down on this Tuesday, this lovely Tuesday afternoon? I appreciate that. I like this cool ass little mushroom cup. You're right. I just couldn't find my Tripoverdrip Stanley. Get yours today on tripoverdrip.shop. But let's see here. We've got Kevin in the house. Big Tree Chad's over on Twitch. We got some peeps coming up in here on YouTube. Let's go, YouTube. We got some people up over here on Facebook. Dang, bro. Today's been a day already, player. Today has been a day already. What in the shit is going on, my friends, my family, my trusted confidants? Hell yeah. Bro. Things are crazy on planet Earth. You know, how many fucking times is our president going to get up here and tell us that the war's over, bro? We all know that the fucking synagogue of Satan and all them ball worshipers don't have any plans to stop soon. And they've really just got our president's balls in their hand, just squeezing them and pulling more. Get over here, you little fucker. Yeah, I mean, I do feel that same way, Stacy Ekin. You guys hear about Joe Feltz? He passed away. There seems to be, on at least in my perspective, there seems to be some suspicious things going on. I don't know. A lot of people are saying that he self-exited, like he took his own life. But then there was like tons and tons of videos talking where him saying he would never do that. And then those same videos have been taken down. Weird. Weird. It's a smorgasbord. It's a smorgasbord. I got my freaking dreads all nice and washed, dude, to get them all twisted up. I just slapped myself in the face with my dreads. Get them all twisted up, dude. You know what I'm trying to say, dude? Ugh. All right, dude. I just needed them out of my face. You know what I mean? You guys ready to get in today's mindful message, bro? We got some shit to get up into, and I'm just ready to roll. We've been going out. We're live for 5 minutes. If you're not here yet, be square. Do you know why it says be there or be square? Because if you're not there, you won't be around. Weird, huh? It's a funny little one. Be there or be square. What's up, Marie Moon? What's up? Hello, California. What's up, Lacey Lane? If you're here, could you just say hello? Who do we got up in the house? What's up? We got freaking Marie Moon is up in here. Kevin is a human. Lost Scroll. Stacy Russell. Stacy Akin. What's good, bro? How's it going? You guys ready to get up into the ching chong, chingity ching chong? Chingity chong chong to chong chong chingy. What's up, Raxia? What's good? What's good, everybody? All right, you guys ready for today's mindful message? If you weren't here for yesterday's, this week we're just, things have just been a little bit too heavy as of recently, and I feel like we just all need a refresher of how powerful and divine you actually are. Cheers. But what if the kingdom of God is within you isn't just a beautiful phrase? It's actually a description of a real inner field of infinite possibility that your consciousness is already interacting with moment to moment. Now, if that already stirs something in you, you could just comment the words kingdom within, so you can mark the moment that you stop treating spiritual as a concept and started treating it as your actual operating system. Yesterday, we laid the foundation. You are not just matter. You are consciousness, energy, and intention. And your awareness is not passive. It's the way that you observe your life and how your life feels and how it unfolds. We also went over that your intention is the tuning dial. It shifts your inner frequency and the kinds of experiences that you allow yourself to empower. Today, we're going to build on that and go deeper into one core idea. The kingdom within as a quantum field, like how coherence, resonance, and belief determine how that field expresses through your day. So number one, the kingdom within, or your inner quantum field. Yeshua said, the kingdom of God is within you. He didn't say the kingdom is in a building or in a ritual or in someone else's approval. He pointed you inward to a dimension of reality that is closer to you than your own thoughts. Quantum spirituality describes this in scientific language. There is a field of infinite potential, or a quantum field, where all possibilities exist as probabilities. Your consciousness interacts with that field through observation, belief, and emotional charge. The patterns that show up in your life are not random. They are expressions of how your inner state is tuned to that field. So when Yeshua talked about the kingdom within, he was pointing to the same reality quantum physics is describing, a hidden, non-physical dimension of reality that is intelligent, responsive, and intimately connected with your inner world. This is not about manifesting a new car by thinking really hard. This is about realizing that your inner coherence literally shapes how your energy organizes into your experience, starting with your thoughts, emotions, relationships, and ultimately your choices. Now, number two, coherence. That's when your inner world lines up. In quantum terms, coherence means the waves of a system are aligned. They move together, reinforcing each other instead of canceling each other out. In spiritual terms, coherence is when your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions are mostly pointed in all the same direction. You're not consistently saying one thing, feeling another, and then doing something else. Your inner signal is clear instead of chaotic. Sorry, that was my dog barking hella loud. When your inner world is incoherent, full of conflicting beliefs, fear based thoughts, and emotional static, your experience of life starts to feel scattered, noisy, and mostly exhausting. You're trying to tune into the kingdom within, but your inner radio is stuck between stations. When your inner world is coherent, even if life is hard, you will feel more clarity, more inner stability, more sense that you're being guided even in uncertainty. Yeshua embodied this coherence perfectly. He knew who he knew who he was, and he moved from that identity under pressure. Quantum spirituality says coherence creates a stronger spiritual signal into the field. The field responds to clarity more than to chaos. So for today, here is your first practical takeaway. Let me know if you're still here, Team Human, in the comments. Before you ask for anything from the kingdom within, you have to ask yourself, am I coherent? Are my thoughts mostly aligned with truths, or are they looping in fears? Are my emotions mostly rooted in trust, or are they drowning in panic? Are my actions reflecting what I say I believe, or are they contradicting it? And you don't have to be perfect at this. You just have to be honest enough to start aligning yourself. Like one simple practice. 3 times today, you can pause and ask, what am I believing right now? Does this belief line up with who I know that the kingdom of within is? If not, what's a truer thought I can choose? It's not positive thinking, bro. It's inner coherence. And that's how it works. That's your tuning. You tune in your signal so the kingdom can express more clearly through you. Now, number 3. Let's get into resonance. It's your frequency that determines what you attract and what you amplify. Quantum physics talks about resonance as the natural frequency at which something vibrates. When 2 systems resonate together, they amplify each other. Spiritually, your inner state, like your dominant thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, is your frequency, bro. Fear, scarcity, or self-rejection resonate with contraction. Love, gratitude, and self-honesty resonate with expansion. What you resonate with, you will tend to notice more of, attract more of, and empower more of. That's why 2 people can go through the same day and come away with 2 complete different experiences. They're living in the same external circumstances, but resonating with a different inner frequency. So they're collapsing different sides of each field, or slices of each field. Yeshua's teaching, according to your faith, let it be done to you, is a resonance statement. Faith is not intellectual agreement. Faith is a frequency, a deep inner knowing and alignment with a higher reality. That frequency resonates with the kingdom within and shapes how that kingdom expresses through your life. Other avatars throughout time have echoed this. As you think, so you become. You become what you contemplate. Quantum spirituality puts it like this. Your emotional and mental state is a frequency, and that frequency does interact with the field around you. The field responds with experiences that match your frequency. So today, here's the second practical takeaway. Stop asking yourself, why does this keep happening to me? And start asking, what frequency am I living from that makes this feel so dominant? Examples. If you're in consistent conflict as of lately, you can ask yourself, am I mostly resonating with defensiveness or from grounded love? If you keep experiencing scarcity, you can ask yourself, am I mostly resonating from fear of lack or from trust and wise stewardship? If I keep experiencing rejection, I would ask myself, am I mostly resonating with I am not enough or from I am worthy and I choose wisely? You're not blaming yourself, but you're taking responsibility for your inner world so that you can shift your own experience. One simple resonance practice for today or twice today, you can just pause and ask yourself, what emotion is dominant in front of me right now? If this emotion was a frequency, what would it be amplifying in my life? Do I want more of that or do I want it to shift? And if you want it to shift, don't fight the emotion. Just breathe, name it, and consciously invite in a higher frequency. I invite peace. I invite trust. I invite clarity. And like really feel it for like 30 to 60 seconds. That's literally you retuning your resonance. And last but not least, we're going to get into the fourth one, your belief, bro, the collapse button on your quantum field. In quantum experiments, the act of measurement collapses a wave of possibilities into a specific outcome. In your inner life, belief acts like that collapse button. Belief is just not, I say what I think is true. Belief is that your nervous system and subconsciousness are actually operating from. If you say, I am loved, but your body lives in constant tension and rejection, your dominant belief is still that I am not safe and I am not enough. If you say God is good, but your inner dialogue is mostly fear and doom, your operating belief is still life is dangerous and I'm on my own. Yeshua consistently challenged people's beliefs. He says, your faith has healed you. Do you believe I can do this? Go, your faith has made you well. He wasn't impressed by their religious language. He was interested in what they actually believed at the level of their heart, because that was what was collapsing their reality. Quantum spirituality says the same exact thing. Your beliefs are the filters through which you observe the field. Those filters determine which potentials you get to experience. So today, your last and third final practical takeaway. You could literally just identify one core belief that's running your life and then bring it into light and ask yourself, what do I secretly believe about myself? What do I secretly believe about God, source, or the universe? What do I secretly believe about life itself? Write down the first answer that comes, even if it's ugly and unspiritual. And then you ask yourself, does this belief line up with the kingdom within? Does this belief reflect who Yeshua or other avatars say that I am? Is this belief helping me live in coherence and higher resonance, or is it keeping me stuck? If the belief doesn't line up, you don't have to pretend it's gone. You just have to start choosing a higher belief and start practicing it. Like, I am not alone. I am held by a love bigger than my own circumstances. I am not fundamentally broken. I am a soul learning and growing. Life is not only against me, it is also for my awakening. Every time you choose that higher belief in real time, you're pressing a new collapse button on your field. Now, we went over a whole bunch of different stuff, so we're going to bring it all together. And here's what I want you to take with you. The kingdom within is real. An inner quantum field of infinite potential that you are already connected to. Coherence matters, bro. When your thoughts, emotions, and your actions align, your signal to the field around you gets clearer and your life feels more guided. Resonance will also shape your experience. Your inner frequency determines what you notice, what you attract, and what you empower. And belief will collapse all of those into possibilities. What you truly believe at a subconscious level is really what's actually shaping most of your day. Your practical assignments are just check if you're coherent. Be aware of what you're resonating with and what you're not. And today, identify one core belief that consciously you can choose in real time to become a higher version of yourself. That's it. It's simple. It seems doable to me. But deeply quantum and deeply spiritual. Because every time you do stuff like this, you're not just having a better day. You're literally learning to live from the kingdom within as a conscious co-creator with source instead of a passive passenger in your own circumstances. Now, again, if something in you knows that this is your path, you can also just comment the words kingdom within one more time as a declaration that you're not done treating spirituality as a theory and you are ready to live it as your own operating system. Tomorrow, we're going to build on this again, going even deeper into how your identity and your expression of source changes the way that you relate to fear, time, and for your problems. But for today, let this just be enough. You are not outside of this kingdom of heaven. You are inside of it. And you are learning step by step, to live from it. I love you, Team Human. Ooh, Mary, what's up? Constance, what's up? Karen, what's up? Raxia, what's up? Big Tree Chad, Anna Ray, Julie P, Lacey Lane, Marie Moon, what's up? Carmen Barner, what's good? How y'all doing? What's up, dude? What's up? I hope that helps somebody. I hope somebody out there was just like, yeah, he's right, you know, and then boom, they just go on, they just take off, bro, and everything changes for the better in their life, bro. Dina, what's up? Dina Perry Miller, what's up, dude? Kate Cleo's in the house, what's up, dude? Lacey, what's up? Brandy's in the house, dude. We got a squad up in here. Sorry about the smoke, guys. I didn't mean to blow that in your face. All right, we're getting right into it. We got a couple clips on X. Okay? After that, we're going to go to and watch a longer clip of Matthias De Stefano. Yeah, he remembers his past lives when he lived in Atlantis. I hope you're still here for that because it's going to be quite powerful. And then we're going to go down a rabbit hole about Candace Owens at the end of this. I hope you're here for that too. If you're going to be here for that, you can just say here for that. There, my dear friend. All righty. First things first, Baron Coleman was on the Julian Dory podcast. All right. Baron Coleman is fucking straight beast mode, bro. I love Baron Coleman. I watch his shit all the time, bro. So let's let him talk. Did they kill Charlie Kirk over his changing stance on Iran?
From what I could see, and I'm just seeing social clips at the time, I can't say I'm like the closest person watching Charlie Kirk while he's doing this, but like I would see clips pop up of him doing things, not even on college campuses, but like at talking in 24, 25, where.
Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear this?
Like the Israel topic would come up, and he would vociferously.
Weird. What's going on here? Let me just go like this. Let me just go like this. Okay, should be better now.
End it. And we now can see from like some text and stuff behind the scenes and conversations that were happening in
thumbs up if you can hear it,
especially until those recent texts that Candace put out, which I think is something we got to come back to. But like July 2025, August 2025, the Hamptons meeting, you know, when he did the thing with Dave Smith, and Dave Smith talks about what they talked about off stage before that debate at the end of July 2025. That's where you could start to see him at least like saying some things out loud on his show when you look at clips. But before then, after the PBD thing, what he thought privately is one thing, but everything he still did publicly, to me, was very much still like defending the shield here.
Yeah, until August. That's when he started dropping the mask a little bit. The Megyn Kelly interview, I think it was August 6th.
2 days after the Hamptons thing.
Yeah. He that was the first time I recall him publicly dropping the mask after that PBD interview. And, you know, in my mind, going back, you were asking me where I was in September, October. It wasn't an international operation, but I thought it probably had international okay. because of the searches that originated from overseas.
And you were thinking, it's interesting though that early you were already thinking the Iran war, because again, the narrative, huge air quotes there, but the narrative at the time was, oh, we did that 12-day thing, we came in and bombed Florida, the nuclear, now you and I know this is bullshit, but the nuclear stuff's gone, so we've stepped out and we're not going to war. And so in my head, I was like, yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. But at the same time, I will admit, I still wasn't thinking, like from that point, June 2025, I wasn't thinking sometime in the next 12 months, we're going to seriously be looking at boots on the ground, like as a real plan in Iran. And that.
I just have a question, guys. You can answer if you choose, you can answer if not, but I believe Charlie Kirk was the first casualty of the Iran war. That's just my own opinion. I think he was the first casualty. That's just me. What is it that you believe? Oh yeah, wait. Pfizer under oath? Let's hear this.
The Pfizer COVID vaccine tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market. If not, please say it clearly. If yes, are you willing to share the data with this committee? And I really want a straight answer, yes or no, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
The question was, did they have any sort of testing on COVID's ability to transmit between people with the vaccine?
Regarding the question around, did we know about stopping immunisation before it's entered the market? No. We had to really move.
I mean, you heard it right out of Pfizer's mouth that they never tested the vaccine to even see if it could stop transmission of the virus before rolling it out to the public. That seems fucked up. I just wanted to put that out there, bud. Oh, and then we're going to get into this.
Yeah.
Ooh, according to Andy, a group of entities called the Nine controls our universe, and that the CIA is terrified of them. He claims they represent the 9 forces of nature. Shout out Danny Jones.
Yeah. And so what were the 9?
So it's complex, but apparently they were there.
Can I just please?
They're a group of entities that are basically overseeing.
Please tell me someone. Please tell me somebody knows about the 9. Please, someone tell me how they know about the 9. Right there. Do you know who Puharich is, bro? Andrija Puharich. Andrija Puharich was a Croatian-American inventor, physician, and parapsychology researcher. He's best known in his esoteric conspiracy circles for his long-term involvement with the 9, also called the Council of 9, which is a group of entities said to be extraterrestrial or transdimensional principles of God who channeled messages about humanity's destiny. How Puharich and the 9 began. According to the standard narrative in these circles, on New Year's Eve, 1952, some accounts say early 1953, at the Round Table Foundation Lab in Glen Clove, Maine, Puharich, who was also we'll get to the MK Ultra stuff about Puharich in a second. Puharich and their channeler, D.G. Vinod, sometimes rendered as Vinod, a small group of wealthy, well-connected Americans held seances and psi sessions. They reportedly made contact with a collective entity calling itself the Nine, who claimed to be guiding forces behind human history and the new rulers of Earth's spiritual evolution. Over time, other channelers, notably Phyllis Schlemler, continued receiving material from the Nine for decades. And the lore expanded to include links to Egypt, UFOs, and global elites. Where does MK Ultra come in? The MK Ultra connection is speculative and circumstantial, alleged, and not proven. But Puharich, the guy who was in charge of this channeler who was channeling information from the Nine, he actually moved in overlapping circles with early CIA-funded parapsychology and remote viewing research. Specifically Uri Geller, which did receive CIA or DoD money. His interests in mind influence, telepathy, and psychic warfare fit the same Cold War mindset that produced Bluebird, Artichoke, MK Ultra, Monarch. But Puharich himself is not documented as the MK Ultra operative. I think so. I don't know. Let me see right here. Okay, there was a kids animated movie called Nine that came out. Can you please explain to me what the basis of the movie is?
Sure. The movie Nine is an animated post-apocalyptic film where a small sentient ragdoll named Nine wakes up after humanity has been wiped out by machines. Nine discovers a small group of similar ragdolls called Stitchpunks, who are struggling to survive against fearsome machines that roam the earth. Although Nine is the newest member of the group, he convinces them they can't just hide. They need to confront the machines and find out why they're being hunted. Ultimately, their journey uncovers the origins of the machines and shows that the survival of civilization depends on them.
Weird. That's exactly it. The survival of civilization depends on the Nine. Weird. But my question, okay, everybody, have you guys know who Bashar is, right? Everybody knows who Bashar is. Danny Ainka. Daniel Ainka. This man. Bashar. Can you please provide me information of Daryl Ainka or Bashar and what that is?
Sure, here's a summary of what I found. Daryl Hanka is a filmmaker and creative visionary who has spent more than 40 years channeling an entity called Bashar. He started this journey after witnessing UFO sightings in the 1970s and spending years researching metaphysics. Bashar is described as a non-physical extraterrestrial intelligence from what we perceive as the future. Through live events, recordings, and teachings, Bashar's messages have focused on personal growth through a 5-part formula. Follow your passion, act with integrity, place insistence on specific outcomes, stay positive, and examine fear-based beliefs. Some see these teachings.
Okay. Now, I would just like to point out that I don't think for one second that Bashar, who supposedly channels this other entity to take over his avatar and speak through him. That's what a channeler is. Now, I guess, bro, I got to ask you. Do you believe Daryl? What are your thoughts? Now, as I've done my fair share of content consumption about channelers, it's hard to tell. But regardless of whether or not it's true that this real entity is actually taking over his avatar to speak spiritual facts to humans, whether that's true or not, regardless of that fact, what he says is powerful. What he says is impactful, transformative, perspective shifting. Correct? Poop emojis if you agree. Because I wanted to bring you over to someone else. Matias de Stefano. He is an Argentinian spiritual teacher, author, and consciousness educator born in 1987. At the age of 3, he reportedly began recalling vivid memories of past lives and perceiving the spiritual structure of the universe, experiences that led him to be identified as an indigo child with heightened spiritual awareness. Between ages 12 and 18, he said that he has experienced intense visions of ancient civilizations and etheric beings, prompting him to seek answers through the Akashic records, a metaphysical compendium of universal knowledge. He pursued education across Argentina and Spain. Let's see here. What about it? He talks about Atlantis. This man, you've seen him maybe if you're into this guy. You seen this guy before? This one right here, Matias de Stefano. Anyone else heard of him? Yes. Atlantis is a central theme in Matias de Stefano's teachings. He claims that he lived as an Atlantean and shares detailed accounts of the lost civilization based on his purported past life memories. He began recalling vivid stuff about Atlantis. He teaches that Atlantis was founded by beings from other worlds, specifically star beings like the Arcturians and the Pleiadians nearly 30,000 years ago, and served as an experiment in human evolution. He explains that Atlantean civilization was built on sacred geometry with structures like temples aligned to cosmic energies. Wait, what? Such as the pattern of such as using the flower of life. Wait. He claims that the Atlantean civilization was built on sacred geometry with structures like temples aligned to cosmic energies. Can you please provide me information regarding the structure Angkor Wat in Cambodia and how it is aligned to the equinox, as well as the blueprint of the actual structure matches the cymatic frequency of 365 hertz? Are you there, buddy?
I'm still here. Just pulling up the information for you now. Thanks for your patience. I'll have it ready in just a moment. Thanks for waiting. Here's what I found really quickly. Angkor Wat's overall structure is rectangular, surrounded by a large moat and an outer wall about 1,500 meters east to west and 1,300 meters north to south. Inside, the temple rises in 3 stepped terraces with concentric galleries, culminating in 5 towers symbolizing Mount Meru in Hindu mythology. As for the equinox, twice a year, around March 21 to 23, the sunrise aligns perfectly with the central tower and main axis of the temple, crowning the highest spire with the sun. Scholars believe this alignment was intentional, reflecting the Khmer architects' deep knowledge of the solar calendar and their desire to link the temple with key solar events. Regarding the idea that Angkor Wat's blueprint...
We watched that. You guys remember we watched that, bro? Yeah, it sounds like Egypt, how it's like with the freaking Osiris and the freaking, you know, bro. Sacred geometry, bro. If you're watching my channel, you know, bro. But yeah, so I got this clip. He's talking about our 9 dimensions, our 9-dimensional reality. And I just wanted to, bring this to everyone's attention and just listen to what this wonderful human has to say. We will be stopping in between, and then just know that at the end of the stream, we are going to getting into The Bride of George Farmer. Yes, there is a Mind Unveiled about Candace Owens. We are going to watch it so we all can see the information together and collectively come up with the conclusion ourselves. But before we get into Matias de Stefano, I do have to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to put on a bass forge for you guys real quick.
coding tool have been found lodged in have computers. We've only been using technical drawings for 200 years. Egypt had been using them for 3,000 years. We're only able to see this because the internet connecting us shows us how connected they were. We all agree it's not a tomb, right? That story sucks. What is it? All right, here's what we know about the Great Pyramid. It's on the latitude of the speed of light. Lucky guess. It's on the very dead center of the landmass of the planet, meaning it's connected to the most land. It's also on the lengthiest great circle.
What the hell is even that?
If we slice the globe up into little discs, it's on the fattest disc, the longest disc. This thing also gives us the ratio of the moon to the Earth. Same with Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. The lines on the Vitruvian Man are also the exact locations of the chambers in the pyramid. All of these achieve this by squaring the circles. Stonehenge also does this. This used to be a geometric riddle that nobody could solve. Base of the pyramid, circumference of the Earth. Base to tip, polar radius of the Earth. The pyramid doesn't just square the circle, it cubes the sphere. If it wasn't weird then, it gets quantum weird now. Cubing the sphere is the concept of bringing energy into matter. So the left is a photon hologram, it's caught in crystal. The right is a digital recreation of that is superimposed on the pyramid. You're probably thinking it's a coincidence. Well, here's what happens when photons interact. Think of lasers crossing and creating patterns. When they do that, they create this. It's called a Talbot carpet. If we put the flower of life over the Talbot carpet, you can see that the points intersect at very important points on that graph. We use this shape because there's 2 of them in Abydos in Egypt. Probably not a shocker that that one's going to match up too. We can also verify this by doing a heat map or a thermal scan of the pyramid to see where it focuses heat. Now we're going to tie this to reality with E8. E8 is a mathematical object. It's claimed to be the theory of everything. To perceive 8 dimensions, we have to project it like a shadow so that we can understand what it is. The 3D model is taking it from 8 dimensions down to 3D so we can understand what it is. 2D version is a shadow of the 3D version. When you put it over the Great Pyramid, we get another match. So why does it all connect? You're taking energy and information from the light, that's the Talbot part. Then you give it architecture, where to go. The whole thing is then directed by that geometry. Absolute geometric perfection. This may be the most important news of our lifetime. What you're looking at are leaked images, and it changes everything we know about the ancients and pyramids. The image above is showing what's underneath the middle pyramid of Giza, not the Great Pyramid. The team has discovered 8 wells with spiral tunnels around each one underneath the pyramid. It goes 640 meters into the bedrock of the plateau. To give you a scale of what that is, the Great Pyramid is 146 meters tall. That's 4.5 times the height into the ground. They end at 2 cubes that are 80 meters by 80 meters. We don't know what's in them. That's not all. Inside the pyramid, 5 new chambers, almost exactly like the Great Pyramid's King's Chamber, were discovered. Chambers are arranged in the same way the towers at Angkor Wat are arranged. The King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid is made out of absolutely massive blocks of rose granite from 900 kilometers away in Aswan. That chamber is a perfect 2-square rectangle in geometric terms. The team used that chamber to test the accuracy of their Doppler technology for imaging. That revealed the full internal structure of the middle pyramid and these weird tuning fork things that are going into the ground. New features at Angkor Wat and new pyramids in Guatemala were discovered using non-invasive technologies as well. Why is this one so important? This remains the current explanation for how these were built. Explaining one of these tunnels this way would be insane. They did it 8 times. This level of sophistication is not only beyond their capabilities, it more closely resembles our computer architecture, except they were doing it in 3D. Can't explain those.
Bruh, you guys believe me, bruh? You guys believe in me about the secret geometry in Atlantis, dude? You know what I'm saying, dude? What? Yeah, homie. Where is the sky at right now? Oh, can I just play a little something for you real quick?
Your empire is done. You started the war, you thought you would win. Now look at the mess that your country is in. Look at it. Your general's crying, your plan was a bust. The promises made are now turning to dust. Marco Rubio was sweating, he's grilled on the floor. They asked for with the billions you wasted on war. You lied from day one, you keep capping a lot. But look at the straight, yeah, we got it on lock. Lockdown. You're begging for mercy, you're begging for peace, while telling your media Iran wants to cease. You sure? You're losing the straight, you're losing the state. And now the whole public is drowning in hate. You told, stop talking about Epstein. Now listen to the crowd. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Louder! Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Don't stop talking about Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Louder! Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. You lied about Iran, said Navy is gone. You promised regime change from darkness to dawn. You're dreaming, your beautiful B-2s were flying so high, still shaking inside. You're about to cry. You stood on the stage, looking completely detached, saying, I don't care about voters, it's cash. Did he really say that? Yeah, he did. You care about ballrooms, luxury suites, while American families starve on the streets. Inflation is peaking, the economy's dead, but you worry about Israel instead. The corruption is deep, AIPAC's buying the state. Every politician's got a price on their plate. You're all just puppets dancing for funds, while Iran is standing and holding the guns. You're losing the straight, you're losing the state. And now the whole public is drowning in hate. You told, stop talking about Epstein. Now listen to the crowd. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Louder! Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Don't stop talking about Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Louder! Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. You called yourself a king, but you're just a BJ queen. The biggest disaster the White House has seen. Your empire is done, 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 done. At all, done, 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 done. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. The war is lost. Epstein. You go fix your ballroom. The fire is done. Sail done.
Bro, those are fire, dude. They're so fire, bro. We told you you were done, pedo Don. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Louder. It's pretty insane, huh? Fire, dude. Fire. Fire. All right, let's get right into this. Let's get right up in here. Matthias De Stefano, everybody.
Found things in helping.
In that. That's a job for someone that just smiles.
Wonderful. I think one of the most profound things in helping and supporting people understand the vastness of what they don't know is your understanding and explanation of our 9-dimensional reality, because we operate in a very, especially in the West, very logical left brain way of understanding and reducing things down. But
we need to put layers, levels.
Yeah. So if you could, we don't have to spend the rest of the podcast doing this, but if you can kind of give us,
summarize it.
it's hilarious kind of be asking you to summarize and give me the Spark Nose version of the 9-dimensional reality.
Do it in 1 minute.
The elevator pitch for the
There was once in the TV that they told me, can you tell me in 1 minute what is the universe? And I said, I'd rather shut up. And I just said anything.
Yeah, take the time that you want. But I think it's important to give context also for listeners.
Yeah, of course. First of all, to understand, dimensions are not realms. And sometimes we do that confusion. We have that conflict when we say first dimension, and some people say, oh, the minerals. No. They're not realms, and they are not divided. A dimension is basically, the word dimension means a measurement of two. So something that divides in two, so you can measure two sides. That's a dimension in Latin. So what is a dimension? Is a measurement of 2 points of view, meaning that every dimension is just a measurement of only one thing that you are just dividing once and again to get the understanding of it. So it's basically something that we call science. Science means, the word science means to cut.
Yeah.
So you are the dimensions are cutting stuff so you can get it, so you can understand. So basically, the first dimension is the measurement of the one, understanding that everything is only one thing. And
Ooh! I don't know. It just hits different when he just starts it off just like that. The first dimension is one. Everything is one thing. We are all connected. Everything we experience, every person we see, animal, plant, insect, fish, water, smoke, everything. It's all one thing. And that is the first dimension. All one.
there's only one reality that you can only measure by the amount of one. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have any perspective. It's just one. Unity. So that same thing also can be seen from two perspectives, which is positive and negative. This positive and negative creates the polarity that manifests two options of the unity, called time and space. So through time and space, the unity will be expressed. When time and space collapse to one another, they create the third one, which is the option of experiencing a third different point of that only unity. So it's basically the unity staring at itself and experiencing itself. Then you have the fourth dimension, which is the frequency in which that thing is happening, meaning time. So the fourth dimension is basically how many times this is happening, when it's going to be repeated, you know. So basically the fourth dimension is the process of the experiencing, as the only one thing starts to spin. That spinning is the fourth dimension. Then
that is actually a really good point. Stacy did make a very good point. That's why the very first thing they try to convince every single one of us is that everything is separate. Even God. God is separate from you. We are all separate. We're not all one. But really, the way he explained that is so profound. Can I just get the number ones in the chat a whole bunch of times? Because the way that he explains that, the first, second, and the third, especially when he talked about one changing into the positive and negative, and then it about into the third dimension. It's, I don't know. I just felt that deep to my core, bro. For Rizzle.
Once of the experiencing, as the only one thing starts to spin. That spinning is the fourth dimension. Then the awareness of that spinning is the fifth dimension, where all the data that you are living is recorded. The sixth dimension is, oh, now that I am aware of this, I can transform it into something different. So I can use the awareness of the fifth dimension, the spinning of the fourth dimension, the experience in the third dimension, and the polarity in the second dimension to transform the first dimension. So that's the sixth dimension. And once you get the transformation of that, you become enlightened, because you understand that you are God. You are transforming your own reality. That's the seventh dimension. The place where the archangels live, which basically they are not beings with wings, is actually sounds resounding so hard that covers the entire universe, and is the resonance, the vibration of the understanding of the whole through times and space. And when that expansion from the seventh dimension gets to converge to itself, creates the eighth dimension, which is eternity. So eternity is that every being is living everything, and you can perceive every timeline and every possible reality, which brings you to the complete understanding of every one of the parts, and that's the ninth dimension, which is the divine. So the ninth dimension is the I get it, I am. And the ninth dimension takes you to the oneness again, the first dimension. But in this time, because it's a new cycle, we call it the 10th. And the second dimension will be 11.
Got it.
And the third dimension will be 12, and so on. So it's recreation of itself once and again. But it can be explained in many different ways. So that's just summarizing.
Wow, you did great.
Thank
Amazing. The difference between the ninth and the first, again, what is the difference? Because they sounded very similar. It's like, is it like
the one dimension doesn't have consciousness of itself.
Okay.
Simply is. In the ninth dimension, it has awareness. The ninth dimension is, oh, I am.
I am that I am.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Ooh. You guys, I am, bro. If you guys have been on this spiritual journey for as long as I am, that I am statement is just one of them. Bing, 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 bing. That's where the ninth dimension is, bro. I am that I am. Jeez, it just gives me the spiritual EBGBs. I'm all got freaking goosebumps and shit.
Oh, so it's a lot.
It's difficult to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is that also to understand this is not that you have to go from one dimension to another to reach the ninth. The only way you can reach the ninth is through the sixth and the third. So the ninth dimension can be only comprehended by the ability to transform sixth dimension, the third dimension, which is the matter. So you can only reach God from the third dimension.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So he said that the sixth dimension is the transformation. It's the combination of the sixth dimension and the third dimension. The third dimension is matter. The sixth dimension is transformation. 6 and 9 also equal 9, which means that you reach I am. It's pretty profound, bro.
There's no way to reach God from the second or the fourth or the eighth. The only way to reach it is by living in the third dimension. And that's why all the beings needs to create an experience in order to assimilate all the other dimensions. And when they reach to transform from the sixth dimension, the third dimension, you become God. You become the creator. That's why it's not like you are in the third dimension and you have to go to the fourth dimension. I've heard many people saying we are going to the fifth dimension. No, we are not going because it's a dimension. It's not a place. So you never go to the fifth dimension. You understand the fifth dimension from the third dimension. You just simply change your perspective of who you are. That's how you change dimensions. So it's not that you leave the third to go to the fifth.
Wow. Can I just ask if anybody else is like picking up their jaw from the ground just the way that he's explaining this, bro? I don't know. I'm just saying it seems really impactful to me.
Are they like spheres encompassing one another?
It's the same thing. It's just like if you have one only thing and you're doing this.
Yeah.
Is that. It's not different layers. You can try to understand it as layers. Your mind will try to put it in a way that you can understand it.
Right.
Like, like layers of the earth. Not exactly. It's like all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are I heard you speak to the 4 stages of the processes of the realization. Can you explain that and how that pertains to the understanding of the dimension?
That's the fourth dimension, which is the process of the whole thing. Every being in existence needs to go through these 4 stages, which is expression, experimentation, integration, and transcendence. And it doesn't have to be very philosophical. An expression is just a spark. Experimentation is the fire and the burning. Integration is ashes and again a spark. And transcendence is the heat. So that's a way of transcend. It's like before you burned, but now you are giving heat to someone or enlightening someone that needed the fire. So transcend is go beyond your shape or what you can do and become a part of someone else. So that's how would be the process, for example, for the fire.
Yeah.
The water does, solid, liquid, these different states. So in a person's life, it's about do something creative or do something, whatever, an action, and experience that, and then integrate what you have learned from that, and then transcend would be to let it go, so others can do something new with that. So it depends, but the process is constantly that. Yeah.
How does understanding the 9 dimensions and what we just spoke to, how does actually starting to wrap in our own limited way that we even can try to understand the 9 dimensions, how does that support us in our life? Like, how is that helpful to us?
Well, practically nothing. It's like useless in our daily life. But what can really help us to understand is that there is no other. Like, everything's just a reflection of only one thing. And in our daily lives, it can help us to understand that there's no separation. So we can always change our point of view. We can always learn from someone different. And that difference won't be someone apart from us. It will be just a different aspect that we are not able to see because of our personality. And we need...
What's up, baby girl? Queen Trip's in the house.
Someone else to show us that perspective, because that person can see from the other side. So I guess that the understanding of dimensions is not to go to those dimensions, but to understand that everything is working for only one thing and there's no others. Yeah.
And to stop taking our own perspective, I guess, so seriously. It helped kind of melt the illusory nature of separation that we hold so strongly.
Yeah. It's something natural, mainly in mammals, that we have, that we try to survive and protect what we think we are. So we can survive as long as we can. So that's why anything that could be different for ourselves is an illness. It's a virus that can kill us. So that's why we shield, we protect ourselves, and we say, no, this is my point of view and this is the truth. And that's okay if you live through the unconsciousness. When you live through the unconsciousness, it's all about survival and following the flow. That would be unconsciousness. And it's not bad. Actually, the unconscious of the universe is the one that enables the...
Whoa. Let me run that back real quick.
It's a virus that can kill us. So that's why we shield, we protect ourselves, and we say, no, this is my point of view and this is the truth. And that's okay if you live through the unconsciousness. When you live through the unconsciousness, it's all about survival and following the flow.
Can we just make connection that why is it, do you think, that the system that we all live in has made it so almost every person on the planet is stuck in survival mode? Is because when you're stuck in survival mode, you're unconscious. And you just think about surviving. You're not aware of all the things around you. Does anybody else resonate with that? I always wanted to say this. W's in the chat.
That would be unconsciousness. And it's not bad. Actually, the unconscious of the universe is the one that enables the energy to flow. So the huge, big movements of people is unconscious. And that's the thing that enables to create, to manifest. So it's not something bad to be unconscious. It's useful for the universe. But if you are trying to be aware or conscious, so that thing of trying to protect your point of view is very difficult. Because there's no one point of view.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I like this thread that we're going on right now, because I am extremely fascinated in everything that we're talking about. And
sorry, just a second.
For the listeners, I love grounding it in things that can, kind of be take homes into how they can perceive reality different, or even if it's just a seed that's planted within someone's consciousness of a new way of seeing things, that can be very liberating. So I think the conversation is, while very fascinating and intriguing for a lot of people, also having some of these kind of practical things that we can bring it back down to earth, so to speak, can be very helpful. One of the Hermetic principles in understanding is to escape the pains of the lower planes. You operate on the higher ones. And so as we understand that we are vibrational beings, and in spiritual communities, especially you come into like the new age thing on YouTube, and like you first start hearing about spirituality, you hear raise your vibration, you know? And so in many ways, to have these other higher understandings, we have to raise our vibration. What does that mean? How do we do it?
Oh, I just felt like I get some W's in the chat, bro. How often do I talk about raising your vibration and your frequency, dude? I'm feeling the little spiritual tingles. You see, maybe you can see them. I don't know. Maybe you can see all the little hairs standing up on my arms, bro. I'm just so excited that I have another spiritual guru right here to fucking break down what does it mean to raise your vibration, bro. What does it mean to you? Can we just get some peeps in the chat right now, maybe just to drop what do you think when you hear the term raise your vibration? Because just like homie said, when we all started on this spiritual journey of like raise your vibration and your frequency and all of these things, I don't necessarily just outright believe that every single person who hears that in the beginning of their spiritual path really quite grasp or even understand the idea that Nikola Tesla was right, that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, all the way to our thoughts and our emotions, our actions, So I'm just genuinely curious, like what do you guys believe? What does it mean? What are they trying to say? What is he trying to say when people say like raise your vibration? Does it just mean like be happier? Does it like be positive? Is it more directed towards like be kind? Even though all of those things are kind of intertwined energetically, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Let's get right back up in here.
Okay, first, raise your vibration doesn't mean to get out from the lower vibration. It means to rise up the lower vibration. What this means, that usually we commit the mistake of saying, this is all low vibration for me. I have to live in a very high vibration, so I have to get out from this and to be there in the spirit. Well, actually, there's the system is a closed system of the universe is basically a closed system, meaning that as higher you go up, the faster you go down. So there's no going up without going down at the same speed.
What? Isn't that just like a ebbs and flows reference right there? That's really how life is that you have to, in order to know what the ups feel like, you have to hit the downs. And then, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Sheesh.
So
very much like a tree, the branches can't go high if the roots don't go deep.
Exactly.
The branches can't go high if the roots don't go deep. I gotta post that right now, bro.
Fell down and die very soon.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend to enlight that fast unless you really understood your shit.
Yeah.
So
what's the rush?
What's the rush? Yeah, basically the low vibration is the one that holds you in existence, and the high vibration is the one that expands you to any existence.
What? You guys, can someone or everyone in the chat please just acknowledge to me that this dude right now is spitting fire, bro. You can't escape the low vibrations. The low vibrations are what keep you here in existence. Let's run that back.
So, so
What's the rush?
what's the rush? Yeah, basically, the low vibration is the one that holds you in existence, and the high vibration is the one that expands you to any existence. So, if you just go to the high vibration, you will expand, but it won't be any easy for you to manifest. So,
is this why a lot of people in the spiritual communities who try to vibrate higher, like, broke and like don't seem to be doing very well physically here in this
exactly.
Interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
because of course in the fifth dimension it's perfect, but in the third dimension you have to eat,
Right.
you have to sleep, and some people forget about that, and this is because of religion. Religion has settled in our minds the idea that we have to go away from our bodies, we have to rise our vibration to reach heaven, but that idea got stuck in us in different kinds of philosophies, and we forgot the main concept of all this, which is in nature. Nature is the best explanation of how the universe works, and we just created an idea that is fake, trying to escape from nature. And when you see a plant, the first thing that a plant does, roots, go deep and deep, because in the darkness you find the minerals to absorb the water, the motion, to absorb, and with that you produce something, this glucose, that creates something that we call love. And that love is the links that you expand to everyone around, and that's the branches. So you create your center, you expand your branches with love, and you open yourself to receive information through the leaves, the light. So you receive the light. What for? To create something, a project. The project is called fruit. So you create a fruit. But the fruit is not the goal. The goal of the
What's up, Melissa?
fruit is to nourish the seed. And where the seed goes?
Down
To the ground, to the darkness again, to create a new tree.
Yeah.
So the whole project of reaching the light is just to go back to the darkness. And nature shows you that in a very beautiful way all the time. And we are just trying to escape. Like those plants that just flotate and go from one branch to another, those are parasites. So because they are living from the life of others. So if you want to be a tree, the tree of life in the universe, must be a balance between both sides. So what is to rise your vibration is basically to allow yourself to transform constantly in that process, to evolve, to transform, not to get stuck in the same pattern all the time.
Yeah, not to be attached to who you have been.
Exactly. So when we talk about rising your vibration, is not to leave something behind, is to understand it in a different way so you can use it properly. And that would be rising your vibration. Is expand your mind to understand different options of why you have to leave this darkness, or why you have this problem, or these kind of things. Because usually problems, darkness, bad experiences are the minerals, the salts that you need to grow up. So when we go deep into the darkness to try to understand it, we can figure out the nourishment of that, of what we needed to reach the light. A tree only grows because of what is in the soil.
Yeah.
That's rise in your vibration, is to change your perspective, to open yourself to new understandings of who you are, of why do you live this reality, and how can you use this reality to improve, to evolve, and not to get stuck in the same point of view all the time. That's why it's good not to get stuck with only one philosophy in life. You have to open, and sometimes it's good to go and pray in a mosque, to go and pray like a Christian, to go and do, I don't know, Buddhism, or just do ayahuasca. This kind of different perspectives, so you can open the tree.
Yeah.
Which is the actual goal.
You're right. The process is from the roots to the tree to the seed, then back to the roots, is like knowing itself at deeper levels from different perspectives, which is partly why I wanted to name the show Know Thyself, is because I feel like it's why we're all here. It's like the purpose of our being is to continue to know ourselves, and in that process of evolution and reincarnation and all of it.
Yeah. I think that one of the main conflicts that we have as humans is that we want to reach a point where it all ends and we can say, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we are bound to death, and somehow we think that there is a limit on this, and death is not a limit. Suddenly you just figure out, oh my gosh, this keeps going. it's like constant. So so we are always looking for going to a place where we are going to be safe. And this is, again, something that my higher self once explained me. He told me all people is looking for a paradise because they think that that's the highest level where you can be in peace and harmony. And he said, do you know what a paradise means? He said, it's a Persian word that means walls. What? So,
interesting.
Paradise is basically a block garden where there's a pond of water. So plants grow there, and a group of people build a wall to protect it. So if anybody comes there, they cannot steal the food. But if you are allowed to go in through the door, then you will have food, water, and peace, because you are running in the middle of the desert. So the paradise is only a Middle East tradition of trying to reach a pond behind a wall.
Interesting.
But if you are in the Amazon, no problems with that.
Yeah,
So, you know, the paradise is everything.
Yeah.
There's no paradise because you are connected to everything. Everything is giving you everything.
Yeah.
So you don't have to run to find food.
Right.
The food is there.
Yeah.
So that's why in South America, Central America, the traditions of the connection to the spirit is not trying to reach it, it's trying to be it. So it depends on the traditions you were in, but because the Middle East was the basis of all the cultures that became globalization, the main religions and stuff, our cells had that thing of when this is gonna end. I have to reach the paradise or the fifth dimension, let's call it, a place where I could rest and I have everything, and I have to rise my vibrations so the doors can be open to me and the portal, blah, blah. And it's all traditions from the Middle East.
For sure. A lot of times individuals distorting information in order.
How crazy, like realistically though, like can I bring you in close? I'm going to bring you in real close, boy. That perspective, again, I got chills, bro. I got chills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control. They're electrifying. You better wake up, cause I need a man. Sorry, I'll just break out in song. There's some grease right there for you. Anyways, the word paradise, right? It can't, like the way he explained it about meaning a place with water and vegetation that was surrounded by walls. So in this religious aspect of heaven being a paradise, that's what they're talking about, is like it's surrounded by walls. But he said something that really was profound. is that we are bound by death. We think that that's the end. Realistically, I think raising your vibration and coming to the understanding that the laws of physics says that energy can never be destroyed. It can only be transformed. And then if you've ever recreationally or ceremonially ingested dimethyltryptamine, you then know that there is something after this. But the radical acceptance that death is not the end, just really think about how perspective shifting for your entire life that really, really can be. Do you know what I'm saying? If you radically accept with every cell of your body that after this human experience, that the leaving of this third dimension is not the end. I think that's one of the most profound spiritual things that really changed the way that I perceived all of reality, is that death is not the end. Now, I have what's called a hiatal hernia from long time having acid reflux. Maybe that's one reason why I think that I fucking am an alien, bro, because all the way from when I was a young human, I remember being a kid getting heartburn and shit, which just means that the food I'm consuming is too acidic. And so like it made me almost feel as if like I wasn't supposed to eat human food. It seems weird to if you're just hearing this, but anyways. So I basically have a hernia inside of my diaphragm, dude. And when I first actually knew that I didn't know that that's what's happening. Okay. Which basically is just like my diaphragm doesn't close all the way because of the intense amount of stomach acid that's kind of just eroded the muscles because it's acid reflux, right? Heartburn, it's the burning you get in your chest and stuff. But when it really first started to happen, there was like, when I found out that I had that, there was, honest to God, bro, there was like a year where I thought I was dying, bro. Because I had this just immense, like, I can't even explain how insane it was, that I just had this immense pressure in my chest. And everything I ever knew about health is that chest stuff means your heart, you know? Dude, I went to the fucking ER, bro, a bunch of times and nothing was wrong, bro. Because I was scared. I was scared I was dying. I was scared I was going to have a heart attack at any second, because there's no way I could even with words express to you what it felt like inside of me. And I was just all the time Googling my symptoms all the time, just worried I'm dying all the time. And that's really where like one of the biggest transformations in my entire life happened, really, is because I, at that point in my life, determined like, how am I going to be remembered? What are my kids going to say when I die? What will they remember me as? If I had a celebration of life or a funeral or whatever people call them, a wake or whatever, like, would people even show up? And if they did show up, what would they say about me? Because the idea of me leaving was very, very consistent inside of my mind all the time, actually. And so, and this was prior to me experiencing dimethyltryptamine. But imagine what happens to the human mind when they come to the realization that the human experience is just one phase of existence. Do you think that you would take this period of time more seriously, or you would take it less seriously? Yes, I am still live, Cheryl. What about you? Like, what is it? If you knew with all of your soul that there was something after this human life, would you take this time more seriously and put more effort into this experience, or would it allow you to like not care really more about this experience and just basically twiddle your thumbs until the experience is over to move on? It's a pretty profound question, I would like to think myself. And I think that for me personally, I put more intent into this experience. I very quickly started to love this avatar in many different capacities. The physical health. I lost 20 pounds over the last few months. I haven't been hitting the gym as much as I should, but I've been hitting it regularly. Like yesterday, I hit it with my kids. It's one of the things I love about. That's one of the things I love about the summertime. Even though we are homeschooling, it's going to still kind of be like this. But I've been able to like take my kids to the gym and exercise with them and just like show them healthy skills, you know. And we go out to our little community pool that every place by me gets to have, and we swim laps and stuff, you know. But maybe the whole point I'm trying to get at is I feel deep in my soul that there is something after this human experience, and I changed everything about me at that period of time and just really started to work on my avatar and accept everybody else, because you are just a reflection of me, bro. And I'm just a reflection of you. We're all the same thing, like he explained earlier about the first dimension. The first dimension is one. It's all unity, just without the consciousness part. You know what I'm saying? That was just so profound, bro. I don't know, bro. Ooh, it just got me. Let's keep going though.
In order to be the middleman between you and the divine, in order to control and
It's all traditions from the Middle East.
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of times individuals distorting information in order to be the middleman between you and the divine, in order to control and have the safety and solace and comfort of this idealized version of paradise, but then there's no expansion, adventure, diving into the unknown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Politics.
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 I'm very interested in ancient civilizations, and particularly your thoughts on the origin of the human species, right? There's the scientific understanding of evolution from a single-celled organism into the human being, but I'm curious, do you feel, or in your experience, has there been extraterrestrial intervention along the process of the human evolution in which maybe there has been some sort of genetic encoding, swapping happening, or I'll just kind of leave that open-ended to you because I'm curious to see what comes up.
And not only humans.
Yeah.
Plants, animals, many things. Aliens has been coming to this planet since this planet started to become alive. When the Earth started to produce its own evolution, they were coming and sowing some seeds of their DNA or plants from their planets and stuff that changed the environment. Or they took us like this Noah's Ark. They used to do that with planets becoming aware, so it could be an expansion. It's like the trees trying to spread their pollen the farthest as they can, so they could reach much more territory, or the insects flying to new trees and stuff. So it's again nature, but projected into the galaxy and the cosmos. So they are like bees or insects going to one planet to another, putting the seeds. And this has been happening since the very beginning. That's why we cannot notice it. When there were only 10 types of plants in this planet, someone came and put another one.
Yeah.
And now we have millions, billions of different plants, and we cannot notice that some of them came from another world.
Yeah.
They just become part of this. The same happened with us. So throughout history, they have come here many times, and they never left, actually. They also...
What's up, Monica?
Lived here. They tried to settle a civilization here. The planet was transforming, so they understood this planet is always about constant change. So they had to figure out a way to use the system of this planet for them to keep living. And because they are like eternal beings. Some of them, they needed to transcend themselves into beings that can die faster, so they can evolve faster. So that's why mammals, and us eventually. And they have come sometimes to guide that process that they have so from very far away.
Yeah. Has there been a specific like large intervention? I'm fascinated with the Melchizedek lineage and their and understanding of Anunnaki coming in.
Melchizedek. Melchizedek. Do you guys know where that's from? Can you please tell me about Melchizedek?
Melchizedek is a mysterious figure from the Bible. His name means King of Righteousness, and he was both the king of Salem, often identified with Jerusalem, and a priest of God Most High. He appears in Genesis chapter 14, where he meets Abraham after a battle, brings out bread and wine, blesses him, and receives a tithe from him. He's mentioned again centuries later in Psalm 110, and then in the New Testament's epistle to the Hebrews, where Jesus is described as a high priest forever in the order of Melchizedek, symbolizing a lasting and unique priesthood. This combination of king and priest, and the brief, almost mysterious nature of his appearance, has made him an enduring and fascinating figure in biblical tradition.
How is he connected to the Anunnaki?
I looked into this and found that mainstream historical or biblical scholarship doesn't connect Melchizedek to the Anunnaki. Claims linking him to the Anunnaki typically come from speculative or fringe interpretations, often inspired by modern New Age movements or alternative history theories rather than accepted evidence.
Okay, well, what is that information that they are using as alternative narratives?
It sounds like you're asking about alternative narratives or theories that link Melchizedek to the Anunnaki. From what I found, these narratives are often tied to modern speculative theories, like those by Zecharia Sitchin, who claimed the Anunnaki were ancient extraterrestrial beings. These ideas suggest connections between Melchizedek's God Most High and the Sumerian deities, but mainstream scholars reject these connections as unfounded. Essentially, these alternative narratives weave together different myths and texts to create a story that isn't supported by historical or scholarly evidence. If you're curious about reliable information, I'd recommend...
I'm just curious, isn't there a Melchizedek priesthood in the Mormon church?
Yes, there is. In the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormon Church, the Melchizedek priesthood is the higher of the two priesthoods, the other being the Aaronic priesthood.
Interesting.
Intervention. I'm fascinated with the Melchizedek lineage and their and understanding of Anunnaki coming in, merging with early primates and kind of creating the human species. I think that's a very fascinating understanding. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, and also leading into Egypt, which we'll go into in a second, with the Hall of Amenti and this kind of flame of consciousness that the understanding from what I've studied from that and the flower of life. And so yeah, what is your perspective on, like, was there a big event where the mammals on this planet were kind of intersected with an alien DNA?
Yeah, there was many times, but mainly in the moment where these beings were guided to this planet to sow their seeds. So it was not a mistake. It was not that they came here to control us. Their planet was dying, and they wanted to transcend. So they weren't expecting to live longer in this world, so they had to leave their lineage in our blood. So eventually they reproduced with us, and that created like the expansion of humanity as the species we know it today. Because if
not that I know of, Monica,
if it wouldn't be because of them, we would be like gorillas or something like that.
Yeah.
Still, it was because of them that we became what we are, and that's why we have their culture and their understanding of things. But we should always remember that we are Earth, that we are part of this planet, and we have been intervened by others, but the evolution came from this world. They were just putting some parts of them in us. And Anunnaki basically are the sons of the skies on Earth. That's what it means. So they came from the skies and they settle here and they start to create their own civilization through us so they could survive before they disappeared. So I don't know where to go with the story, but that's the kind of big picture of why they came here.
I guess while we're on the topic of kind of the origins of the human species, I'm curious about your time and your recollection with Atlantis. So what time frame was Atlantis occurring, and what was the technology that was available to us at that point in time, and what happened during the fall?
Okay. This is the last little bit before we get into the mind unveiled about Candace Owens. But I wanted to give you guys enough context of what he said and his energy and the things he talks about and how he displays his message before we got to this part where he starts talking about Atlantis, bro. Because I needed to give you enough time to feel his energy before he starts talking about a place that they say never existed. Right? Same with Lumeria and Tartaria. These are all just like alternative narratives, I guess. But this individual, Matthias, he does recall his past life as an Atlantean. And now that you've heard him speak, maybe you'll just see what he's about to say in a different light.
Technology that was available to us at that point in time, and what happened during the fall.
According to my memory, Atlantis people started to exist like 20,000 years ago, but not as a civilization. The civilization of Atlantis actually grew during the Virgo era, so 15,000 years ago, approximately. So in that period of time, humans started to design with other beings from other places the structure of the civilization that they got, and they understood the world. They understood that we were part of the world, so they started to follow the technology of the planet. So they understood that information was moved through the plants, but was recorded on stone. So they were following the plants and taking the stones, and through sound, basically building the information. So that
wait, bro, can I get some fire emojis, bro? Did we really just okay, think about the pyramids, Angkor Wat, just all of these ancient sites, Göbekli Tepe, freaking oh, there's so many. I'm drawing a blank right now, dude. Think about all of these sites, bro. Think about what he just said.
So they understood that information was the other beings from other places, the structure of the civilization that they got, and they understood the world. They understood that we were part of the world. So they started to follow the technology of the planet. So they understood that information was moved through the plants, but was recorded on stone. So they were following the plants and taking the stones, and through sound, basically building the information. So the technology that they used was related to the mountains, the stones, and frequency, vibration. It was taught by others from other dimensions and other planets, but mainly humans understood how to do it. So that was the main technology that we had at that time, that made the network of temples and pyramids to create kind of a machine, like the planet was a machine to communicate through different times and spaces. So all the pyramids were connected to certain constellations, and when they were connected, you could see, download, and communicate with different planets. It was like a Stargate, the entire planet. When the age of Virgo ended and started Leo, each one of the territories started to say, this is my time. Because of that, the network started to break, and one of the parts tried to control the others by fear of, no, we have to keep this going. And that brought wars and the disconnection and the mistrust. They were not trusting each other, and so that broke the network, because in order for all that to work, every individual in the population needed to have a preparation to be connected, like a beehive. And when they start to blame to one another, not trusting one another, so the whole system collapsed.
Okay, I'm sorry to do this in this spiritual aspect that we're in, but this makes perfect sense why they use the beehive and the symbol of bees when they're in these secret societies. He's talking about there has to be 100 complete trust for them to be able to network together and create these systems to speak to other dimensions. What the fuck, bro? Because now it just all makes sense to me why, how the secrecy and the loyalty amongst these secret societies that are running the planet, that are probably harnessing their trust and meditation into the astral realms to speak with other beings. You know what I mean?
And because the system collapsed, it brought a big change of weather too. So it was the end of the last glaciation, and that made the big flood and what people remembers about the coast and the cities being flooded by earthquakes and the melting of the ice in the north. And that was the end. But the aliens, they weren't much in contact with us, like for 2,000 years. So they only came sometimes to say some things to certain people, and they just left. They knew that the process of disconnection wouldn't allow them to sustain their connection with the planet. So until the connection is not done again, they cannot be in touch with us again. So that probably will take us these 2,000 years. Yeah.
So,
isn't that interesting, bro? Is that the reason that they were here and they were able to be here and be in contact with us is because the network was intact, because we all trusted everybody, and there wasn't this need to be better. It was, we were all just one. And that they realized that they couldn't ever use this planet ever again or help this species until we reach that point again. Oh man, that's just like a spiritual gut punch, bro. For real, bro. Crazy.
I mean, according to the Akashic Records, all information that ever was and will be is present to us, available to us in this moment. So that information and the access and the wisdom to the technology that they had and prior civilizations had before, are we not able to access it in this time? And why wouldn't we be able to if we have individuals that are able to tap into that knowledge of how things operated then?
Oh yeah, of course you can access that. And there were people accessing that. Well, Tesla, this kind of people, they could access to how to do it, how to manifest it. But you need a huge amount of people connected to the same idea in order to make it possible. So you can download information, but it won't be effective until a group holds it.
Did you guys catch that bar right there? You can download information, but it won't take effect until the group holds it. That's insane. Does that resonate with you? We sit here day in and day out. You probably don't do it necessarily with me all the time, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, but I'm just making it applicable right now. Is that day in and day out that I get on these live streams, we download the information and it doesn't take hold to what is true until the community holds it, bro. That's some bars, my dude. It's some bars, my dude. Some bars, my dude.
And also, there are certain information that is locked because of the resonance of the planet. So if most of the people are vibrating in a low frequency, so there's high frequency information that cannot be heard.
Yeah,
it's like a radio station. So you have to at least a few millions of people to tune the right frequency in order to listen that.
It seems
he said it himself, bro. Come on. In a sense, that's damn near the motherfucking mission for Team Human right there. We need 1 million people, bro, to all resonate in the same frequency, bro, to make a lasting effect on the planet, bro. And you guys are going to be part of my crew of 1 million people. I love you so much, bro. You guys mean more to me than anything. And Matias De Stefano literally just spit bars just there, bro. We need 1 million people for this, for a certain frequency to take effect on a hold of people. We need lots and lots of people, bro.
And it sounds like you've been doing somewhat of this in your own group settings in Egypt, at the pyramids, and these group activations. What's been your journey over the past few years being guided to get larger groups together? And for a year straight, you were at the pyramids, yeah?
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your
He lived at the pyramids for a year, bro.
journey in that time, and what do you feel like you're actually activating in these moments?
Well, as I said before, I am a rememberer, so I help people remember the information, but also my work is to remember parts of the planet that are. I call myself like an electrician, like going and tuning something and put in a cable and then I leave. So I don't care about the information that flows through. That's other people's job of downloading it. My concern is for them to be connected. So it's like connecting the cables for the internet to flow, and a nerd will download it.
Yeah. Such an unsafe.
Comment nerd if you're one of those nerds that's downloading what he is saying. Definitely, I'm taking this shit in.
I like electrician. It's like such an unsexy way of saying it. I feel like you deserve a better title. Intergalactic supernova, super connector.
Yeah, I know.
Warlord.
Electrician.
Electrician. Okay. I love the humility in it.
So what I've been doing was because of what I remember from 12,000 years ago of the places that we used to use. They also move. They are not stuck. In this planet is always moving, and it's related to the North Pole, the magnetic North Pole. So the magnetic North Pole has shifted throughout thousands of years, and it's not located in the same spot, meaning that the connections that we have now are in different locations than they were before. So the pyramids today, they are great machines, but they are not located where the magnetical field is. So that's why they're not that powerful. They are powerful, of course, because they are located in certain places of the planet that will always bring back the frequency. But some of the nodes now are in parts that there's nothing. So what I've been trying to do is to explain to people about those nodes and go to some of them and try to tune the old information to the new one. So, okay, Egypt was the axis of the world for thousands of years. So there you have the most important information because it was the axis of all data. It was like the central, the central of all computers.
Yeah.
So what we did in Egypt, what I've been doing 1 year in Egypt, was to opening every day a gate for new data, new information for the self, to tune a network of people to resound with that information, so we can all upload every day a bit more of that information to the network that was moving. And now the task is to download it to the new nodes, to the new places. So people with the capacity and the resonance to receive that information, eventually they will listen to it and start to do stuff. So
it's got to be the most unique job description that someone can have.
yeah,
that's hilarious. I can only imagine when people ask you, "What do you do?"
Yeah, well, to have a visa.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what do you do for work? Oh, I'm a portal. I'm a portal that used to connect places.
Do you actually answer like with that? Sometimes?
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes I did.
Wow.
Through all these years, I've been doing that, and I wasn't expecting for people to follow me, but I knew since I was 12 years old that I was supposed to talk to a lot of people, that inside of them, they have the information in at least one of the cells of those people that were doing that before. So a lot of people that today, maybe they don't know about this, just their presence is helping because it's matching with the person that uploaded the information before.
Dude, he's literally saying that all he needs is people to hear this information, because there is at least one cell that's connected to your DNA, which is basically just genetic information. There's just one cell that remembers the person that did this stuff, the people that were here in Atlantis, the time frame in our life where it was all unity and all one, and we were all just one thing. Instead of separating ourselves a bunch of times, there are cells in your body that remember it, remember the frequency, they remember the energy. That's why when you hear certain spiritual things and you feel that divine hug, when you get fucking chills all over, you know what I mean? That's those cells remembering the frequency of the information that's being transmuted to you, bro. Whew. Can we get Team Human in the chat, please?
So, I sometimes when we gather, I said two main things. We are not here for you. I'm sorry, and we are using you because you are the plugs. You know, so
Yeah.
you know, it's every person is a unique plug to receive a specific information, and that plug must be unique for that certain information. So we should not be all the same, so we could download specific data. So that's why I'm trying to, during the whole year of the I Am that I was in Egypt, I went to the pyramid every day, and I received some information. I give it to the people through writing and explaining it. And but I thought it would be like huge data for the future, and actually turned out to be talk about the process of understanding, because every understanding, every layer of the being that we were uncovering during that helped people to break the system that they got to go to the core of the heart. And when they did that, the task that we did all together was perfect, because when you work in yourself, trying to understand every layer of who you are, you become the machine. That's what we did in Atlantean times. Every person was a specific part of an engine that was a planet. So if you don't know yourself and your own potential, the machine doesn't work. So that's something that I understood this year in Egypt. Every time going to the pyramid, like I was concerned about politics, about how we can change technology, we can do that and that, and they said, you are the technology. You are just looking for something outside because you forgot the perfect tool you are.
Oh.
So you have to understand every layer of how it is to be a human in order to awaken the potential of that machine. So,
and you've had like, what's the largest gathering you've hosted out there?
In Egypt?
Yeah.
3,000 people.
And you guys are going in the pyramids, outside, around?
We were doing a musical concert, because in Egypt to meditate is forbidden. And we were 3,000 people doing illegal stuff in public. So we did it. Everyone knew what we were doing, but we created a musical concert with activities and dancing and stuff. And it was beautiful because all the activities were related to the self. And
let's go, Chad. Let's go.
And during the nights, I received 1,500 people inside the pyramids, 100 people every 2 hours, from 9 p.m. till 7 a.m. So I've been 3 or 4 nights in a row inside the Great Pyramid, receiving people.
Wow.
And
doing activations. And
every person represented a node of the planet, a specific place. And they were divided in groups that represented a code in the Atlantean tradition through a sound. So let's say the sound ah, it was a specific information, represented the spirit, the portals, the higher level of the spirituality ah, another group m, ma, and so on. So all the ABC of the Atlantean alphabet that represented different aspects of the divine. So it was a group of 32 people for each letter, so 45 groups. Each person represented a note with that sound. So when they got it, and there was groups of 3 that got inside. So 32, 32, 32, all together, 99 people, representing that specific information from the physical, the emotional, and the mind. So all the 3 together created like an engine inside the pyramid. And when the beings were coming through me, they were guiding how to open that information, and they became the plugs. So it was like a perfect engine inside the Great Pyramid. And
whoa.
It was a task of 3 days in a row.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you feel like, so the beings were coming through you, and you felt like a channel, like an empty vessel in which you were kind of being used for this purpose?
I was open.
So you don't even feel like you were really there?
No.
Yeah.
Just a few moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rest, it was all other beings. Sometimes they came speaking other languages, sometimes in English, sometimes in Spanish, through me, because the languages that I know. And they were guiding everything and making us do the sounds, the right sounds, the movement, everything to open that. And there were incredible experiences that I cannot transmit. It's just, you have to live it. Yeah.
Is there something that comes to mind when you think of like the most quote unquote unbelievable experience of your life, and wow, like where like a miracle is happening in front of your eyes, and it's like you're witnessing something your human mind can't even comprehend? And has there been moments where other people have been also witness to that? And can you share one with us?
Yeah, there were many, but there in Egypt, for example, every time that I do a gathering like that, rains, and in Egypt never rains, and it rained a lot that day. When we were opening the gates to receive everyone, the wind, the storm, everything came, and we were talking about the elements, receiving the elements, and it rained. That day rained what it never rains, what it should rain the whole year. So all in that day, and that we all experienced. And there was a crazy thing that I don't understand yet, how it happened from many, and it was in England. I was with a group of 45 people, I guess, and we were in a temple in the middle, in a stone circle in the middle of England, and someone gave me as a gift.
At Stonehenge? Or
no,
different.
No,
Okay.
different one. So someone gave me as a gift like cloak. You say okay?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about the Merlin and stuff, and it was fun. So it was cold during the night, so I wore it, and I took some stuff for the temple, and I put some things to clean the energy of everyone when they got inside and so on. So I was preparing everything as Matthias, as me, and like, okay, this here, this there. And suddenly, while the people were coming, I stopped being me, and this druid came into me, and he started to do the stuff, but I wasn't in control. So I had no idea what he did. And I stopped doing the stuff, and he received everyone. And when everyone was there, he grabbed the thing, the pot where I put all the herbs and stuff, and of course in that moment that guy inside wouldn't say anyone a match. It was like, so, and he just got staring like this and said and light, and the fire just with many colors appear. Wow. and with this face like nothing, he started to like clean everyone. And everyone were like, what just happened? So at the next day, they were like, what did just happen? Did you had a match or something? When? I said, no, I don't remember. It was like something that I never experienced, something like that, so physical, that this druid just said, okay, there's no fire and light. So that was something that all of them, and also the bus driver was there. Which I had no idea that he was there.
All right, guys. Let me go use the bathroom real fast. And then we're going to get into the Candace Owens Mind Unveiled. Let me just go to the bathroom really, really fast. Really, really fast.
I don't know how to explain this, but something insane was going on in ancient India. They had the same rock scooping tool as the Inca, but thousands of years before them. Thousands of years before Petra. They were carving their temples out of the mountain, and unlike Petra, they fully decorated the inside, head to toe. So detailed. If you don't have a guide showing you where all these little things are, you'll never even see them. The Shore Temple, entirely granite. The holes are 3 millimeters, that big, and they curve. The only comparison we have is ancient Egypt, like this obelisk base, but it's still not that detailed. Each Egyptian obelisk was carefully selected because it rings like a bell. This has been heavily researched. Ancient India did the same thing. India was not content with the fact that they just ring, though. They put them inside the temple as art. You can play the temples like an instrument. That is exclusively ancient India. The columns themselves even look like sound waves. The polish on these things has lasted thousands of years. This one is basalt, and it revealed something very strange. Basalt's harder than your countertop, but it shows this warping feature that is only characteristic of injection molding like we do with plastic. India has dolmens, same as the ones in Europe, except Europe only has a fraction of the dolmens that are in India. Possibly the largest concentration on Earth. They have stone circles like Scotland and Ireland, and they're just as big. India even has a Gobekli Tepe in its own special style. I am literally just scratching the surface here, and I rarely even talk about the good stuff because my videos keep getting flat. That thing has officially turned lead into gold, which means we're back in medieval times. Pretty insane that they called that, but wait until you see how far back this idea goes. There's a temple in India called Dilwara Temple. On the ceiling is one of the most wild carvings you will ever see in any temple. And there's not just one, there's a bunch of these things. They're the most intricate things you will ever see, and all of them are different. This one is absolutely massive. It's made of marble, it's 3D, and it's as detailed as a Gothic cathedral. This is the particle collider from the side. If you look straight through it, an outer circle and an inner circle. Look what happens when we use that inner circle with the Dilwara temple ceiling. As an engineer myself, I was like, that's a dope coincidence. So I was trying to find what inspired them to carve something like that. If you dig deep enough, you'll discover that the quantum pioneers almost all studied the Hindu tradition. Schrodinger, heavily into Eastern mysticism. Bohr was deeply interested in Buddhist concepts that originated from Hindu philosophy. Heisenberg had frequent discussions with Rabindranath Tagore. He was the Da Vinci of Eastern philosophy. The most famous quote from Oppenheimer is from the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Well, the concepts are almost exactly the same. Collapsing the wave function, that's Purusha. This means consciousness builds the material world. The observer effect, where observing affects the outcome of an experiment, is the eternal witness in Vedic text. Just Google Sakshi. Non-locality or entanglement is the same as non-duality, the same thing that Schrodinger was studying. How? Superposition, particles existing in multiple states until measured, that is exactly the Atman. Okay, quantum field. It says even empty space isn't empty. Same exact thing as the Akash. It's the field that holds everything together. This one's my favorite, the multiverse theory. Infinite parallel realities. That is exactly how the lokas are defined in Vedic cosmology. Now, alchemy is an Arabic word. Alchem means of Egypt. Both of these cultures use a consciousness-first science. The reason why so many brilliant minds are into this stuff is because what they carved on the walls looks like what we're inventing today. Now we're in the age of decoding what's been right in front of us. Or is that awakening?
Dude, what's up? Who's here still? Can you just comment in the chat if you're still here, still here. You're still here, still here. All right, guys, check this out, dude. First of all, just wanted to show you, dude. Check it out. He's got done tie-dyeing, bro. Hit that tie-dye, bro. What's up? Because right now we still have a few more of these signed tie-dyes, bro. Signed tie-dyes. I'm only making 5 of them. There's only 2 left of these. There's only 2 left of these blue, or these green, red, and yellow ones. These are the bear ones with the awakened bear right here. We still have 3 of these ones left. I'm only making 5 of each. I'm tie-dyeing them myself. Me and my wife will sign them because they will become like a limited edition if we're only doing 5 each. And then if we do another sort of custom tie-dye one, it will be a completely different color scheme, color pattern, different decal. We will never replicate we'll never replicate them. So they're going to be like limited edition. We're going to have, maybe as soon as these sell out, we'll come out with some new ones. But yeah, so there's only 2 left of the bears. Tripoverdrip.shop. There's 3 left of these Tripoverdrip with the little alien. My son is so happy that it's on here because he actually designed the little alien that's on the front of the shirt right here. He drew that. My 9-year-old son Cletus. Oh shit, Pretty Ricky, you got your merch. Yeah, Julia, your decal. I spilled coffee on your tank top, dude, after I made it, and I didn't have any more. I didn't have any more Julia brand. I dropped, like I said, your decal will be here tomorrow. I'll have your Divine Feminine stuff out on Wednesday. But yeah, so get your Tripoverdrip merch, tripoverdrip.shop. Pretty Ricky, I'm super happy that you got your merch. If you could please maybe, put it up on your Facebook or tag or someone, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. Tripoverdrip.shop. Like I said, we got some cool ones, bro. Like we got the mug, you know what I'm saying, bro? Tripoverdrip Stanley right there, the brown one. We got this other Tripoverdrip one, 20-ounce Stanley stainless steel cup. We got these little shopping bags so you don't have to use a bag from the grocery store, bro. 100% they're recycled jeans. We got the one up here with the biblical angel. We got our bestseller right here, actually. It says, release all of their names, stop protecting pedophiles. We got the freaking biblical angel with the be not afraid on the back, bro. We got a whole bunch of divine feminine. These are the ones she was Pretty Ricky is talking about. She got the divine feminine shorts with the divine feminine crop top right there on the left side. You know what I mean? Matching set. Same. We have the same ones for the men. Divine masculine with the matching short set, bro. Just letting you know, we do have international shipping if you live outside of the country. But yeah, let's get right up in here, bro. I just came down here and wanted to show off the tie-dyes that I made because the signed custom shirts are hand tie-dyed by me too. It's all me, but it's all me, player. It's all me. But let's get right into this, bro. Dang, Julie, she's taking 4 Tripoverdrip t-shirts back to Maine to give them away as presents, and she's wearing the biblical angel be not afraid shirt on the plane. You are a blessing, Julia. I love you so much, my sister in Mexico. Woo. That's fire, bro. That's fire. Buying merch to give away as presents, bro. I love you so much, Julia. Thank you. Tripoverdrip.shop. Get yours today.
You ready to continue down the rabbit hole? Hey, Candace. I want to start this video by saying that I'm not attacking you and that I genuinely care. If you saw part 5, you know we talked about Project Monarch and how Candace was the largest voice to have most recently discussed this topic. After that, a lot of you had some things to say, and I do appreciate it. It's not my intention to discredit Candace. My one and only intention is to present the truth. That's it. You can go and verify it for yourself. I'm not here to make claims. I'm not here to hate whatsoever. I read all your comments, and so before we begin with this investigation, let me just set this up because truly I have the intentions to be fair here.
Okay, before we even get up into here, bro, I just want to specify and say 2 eyes to look, 1 eye to see. Energy doesn't lie. I already have watched this back when we watched it when I was only streaming on Twitch, which was like months ago. And I still watch Candace today. So I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Take the information as you please. And let's get into this.
So let me just respond to some of the most common comments first, and even some of the potential future comments so we can just get it all out of the way. Let's just focus on the research, guys. So first thing, the main point seems to be that I'm not a daily watcher of Candace. Look, I've been watching Candace Owens since 2016. Before the Daily Wire, before Turning Point, before any of that political stuff that most people know her for, I was a huge fan before all that. See, the thing is when I found out about her, I wasn't really political at all. I was just an artist, but I lost close friends over the whole BLM ordeal. But during that whole era, Candace was the only voice of light. You remember her holding her phone and recording the whole thought stream in one go? That to me is the real Candace. And I remember even sending my friend these viral clips trying to wake them up. But yeah, I've been watching her from the beginning. So let's quickly go through the others. 1. The whole, there's a method to her madness. She can only release so much info at a time. You just have to be patient. Well, look, I disagree, and this video will explain why. 2. The whole book club stuff. Oh, she reveals more info in the book club. Okay, well, the truth is behind a paywall? What are you saying? 3. You're just hating. You're jealous. Absolutely not. Honestly, I'd rather do old world stuff. I'm doing this because I believe I have to. I'm the only one who can do this at this level.
Okay. If you're here and you have watched Mind Unveiled with me, what are your thoughts right now? If you haven't already watched this, what's going on in your mind right now, especially if you've been paying attention to what Candace says? Are you worried that you're going to not like Candace anymore? Because I was. But it needs to be talked about. And if we're gonna be critical and listen to information about everybody else up under the sun, then we gotta hear what someone has to say about her. Even if you think that potentially, like, oh, I don't know, dang, am I gonna? Is Candace an op? Is Candace working with them? Is Candace just a branch or an arm of another group of elites? Can we just get some Team Humans in the chat? Because this shit's about to get crazy, bro.
4. I'm some plant that is attacking her. Well, if I tell you that I'm not, you won't believe me. So why don't you just watch the video and then debunk it? Let me just be very clear. It is my goal to not make any claims. I just want to show you what exists in the public and what's in the files. That's it. There really is no excuse. Any other comment is just laziness. Do the work and verify it for yourself. Now let's lock in. A lot of you were very specific in the comments. Her husband. So I looked into it. And what I found is not what I expected. The video is called The Bride of Farmer. If you've been watching Candace's series on Erica Kirk, The Bride of Charlie, you kind of get it. But let me just quote how she opened that series. She said, quote, "A young woman with absolutely zero professional qualifications has been inserted at the top of an organization that pulled in over $250 million, and the media is telling you that you have no right to know or to ask anything about her?" Then she said, quote, "The public simply wanting to ensure the person who is running that organization is, at a bare minimum, moderately honest about who she says she is. No. That inquiry makes you a monster." End quote. She asked all the right questions about Erica Kirk. Who is this woman? Who inserted her? Why can't we ask questions about her background? Well, I'm going to ask the same ones about Candace. But before I can show you who she married, I need to show you who she was. Okay, so Candace Owens. Candace grew up in Stamford, Connecticut. She went to the University of Rhode Island to study journalism, but dropped out after her junior year. Never finished a degree. After that, she moved to New York, got an internship at Vogue, worked her way up to a private equity firm in Manhattan. And during all of this, there was zero political involvement, zero conservative commentary, nothing really. She was just working in fashion and finance in New York. Then in 2015, she started a company called Degree 180. It was a marketing agency with a blog, and on the blog, Candace Owens published anti-conservative, anti-Republican, and openly anti-Trump content. She wrote about the batshit crazy antics of the Republican Tea Party. So that's what she thought of Republicans. She wrote that conservatives would, quote, "eventually die off peacefully in their sleep, we hope, and then we can get right on with the obvious social change that needs to happen immediately." So she was quite the activist. Now, I don't want to hold her to that. And again, I want to set the right tone here. We just need to look at the history. I'm not here to make judgments. People change, people grow, but it gets deeper than that. As late as 2016, publishing anti-Trump content, then praising Trump within 12 to 18 months. And now in 2025, she's back criticizing him over foreign policy. So what happened? In April 2016, Candace launched a Kickstarter for something called Social Autopsy. This is the hinge point of her entire career. Social Autopsy was a website designed to track online bullies by cataloging their real names next to screenshots of their offensive posts. Think about what that actually is. It's a public doxing database. You submit a screenshot of someone being mean online, and it gets filed under their real name for anyone to search. She wanted $75,000. She raised about $4,000 before Kickstarter suspended the campaign for violating their terms of service. And the reaction was immediate. Everyone hated it. The privacy advocates, free speech people, left and right, all sides came at her. People started doxing Candace herself in retaliation, and Candace blamed the doxing on progressives. Specifically, she pointed at Zoe Quinn, a woman who had been attacked during Gamergate. Now, multiple outlets cover this at the same time.
Okay. Does everybody know what Gamergate is? I feel the need to clarify this. I'm not too equipped on this specifically. I'm pretty sure it has to do with GameStop, but let's just see. Okay, so I heard someone referring to Gamergate. Can you please, about video game developers, can you please explain to me what that is?
Gamergate was a loosely organized online campaign that started in 2014. It began when a blog post by a video game developer's ex-boyfriend falsely accused her of trading romantic favors for favorable coverage. This sparked broader discussions about ethics in gaming journalism, but it quickly evolved into a harassment campaign targeting women in the video game industry, including figures like Zoe Quinn, Anita Sarkeesian, and Brianna Wu. Participants spread threats and personal information and pressured companies to distance themselves from certain gaming sites. Many see it as a backlash against feminism and diversity in gaming. The controversy left lasting scars on gaming communities and highlighted how online harassment can affect developers and journalists.
Interesting. I had no idea what that was. That's an interesting situation that I would assume that nobody, there's a lot of people probably don't know what Gamergate was, like a backlash on feminism. What the hell?
The Daily Beast, Vox, and the word they used was scant evidence. That's their assessment, not mine. And by blaming the left for attacking her, she was suddenly and instantly embraced by the Gamergate crowd. Anti-feminist, pro-Trump internet personalities, people like Milo Yiannopoulos, Mike Cernovich, and the emerging alt-right. So just to be clear about what just happened, a progressive woman tried to build a public doxing database, got attacked by her own side for it, blamed them for it, and overnight became a hero to the other side. The same crowd that should have hated the idea of a doxing website welcomed her with open arms because she pointed the finger at their enemy. That seems like her origin story. And listen to Candace's own words about what happened next. I became a conservative overnight. I realized that liberals were actually the racist. Liberals were actually the trolls. She said that to Dave Rubin. So let me get this straight. A woman that was blogging against Republicans and mocking Trump had her doxing business fail, blamed the left with scant evidence, and decided overnight that she was now a conservative? That was 2016. August 2017. Less than a year and a half later, she starts posting political videos on YouTube. September 2017. She launches a channel called Red Pill Black. Then she posted a vlog about the Charlottesville rally. It gets 80 million views. She comes out of nowhere, then gets 80 million views on this vlog. By the end of September, she's on Fox News with Jesse Waters. Zero political presence to 80 million views in Fox News in under 6 months.
Okay. I have to counteract what he is saying right here. This period of time, I was still full-fledged under the spell of it all. The illusions, the bread and circus, the distractions, the misinformation, the coordinated events. I was still under the illusion. I knew there was something wrong, but I had no idea what was going on, and I was still falling for the bread and circus, bro. To be honest, I was still falling for the bread and circus. I hate to even say this, but all the way up until last election, bro. there was still a part of me that thought that the illusion was intact. I guess you could say, because that was the breaking point of that it's all one. It truly, truly was the breaking point that it is a global government. It is truly a one world order. At least that's what seems to be apparently running the system now. Do you resonate with that at all? That like, I get attacked for this, but I could really care less. The only time I ever voted in my entire life is I voted for Donald Trump last election. I made a mistake because I was swindled. He's a swashbuckler with that old scallywag. You know, I really truly believed in this person coming from the outside that resonated with the people on the outside, that just was anti-establishment and anti-swamp and anti-Epstein. And of course we didn't have the files then, because he's sure pro-Epstein now because he's covering it up. But that's the whole point, right? Is he promised all of these things that we just didn't outright see it for a long time right in our face, that a political candidate just lied to our faces repeatedly over and over and over again. And I had never really been paying attention to politics enough to know that that just has happened for the last multiple decades, that all of the presidents just actually go and just lie and lie and lie and lie. You know what I mean? So I can't really hold this against her. Like so many people were under all sorts of different spells. Now, if she went up there and she was up there on Fox News with Jesse Waters, I'd be like, what in the fuck are you doing, Candace? Like, are you serious? Jesse Waters, that's like the most pro-war, pro-Trump platform there is on the planet, besides Trump's own social media platform, Truth Social. Let's get back into this.
No experience, no established platform. Either that's the finest organic rise in political media history, or someone opened the doors. Now, I don't know which, but let's look at what happened. November 2017. Charlie Kirk announces Candace Owens as communications director at Turning Point.
I hear what you're saying, Monica. I hear what you're saying, that she's one of them. One of who, though? Is she one of the people sacrificing children to Baal? Is she like one of the pedophilic elite? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Is she an MK Ultra plant, Candace Owens here? Is she just like was she also an MK Ultra plant that just got vindictive of how popular Erica Kirk is? I don't know, because Erica Kirk possibly and allegedly is an MK Ultra plant too, right? From the last episode we watched. This is up for your own discernment. Regardless, though, she wants to find out, at least energetically, who killed Charlie Kirk. I do too. Charlie Kirk was Charlie Kirk 10 minutes south from where I live. And actually, if I'm being honest right now, since that exact moment in Utah, lots of things have changed here in this state. Maybe losing her best friend snapped her out of it, like snapped her out of the spell she was under. Maybe the trauma of her losing her best friend caused her mind to compartmentalize, and this is a completely different personality of the other personalities that MK Ultra brought along. I don't know. It's up for you to decide. All I know is that she seems to be outward and openly spoken against Epstein, against Baal worship in Israel, against genocide, and she wants to find out who killed her best friend Charlie Kirk, and I do too. So regardless if during this period of time she was a full-fledged plant op, etc., just like Erica Kirk, but in a different manner, different capacities, because they were both in fashion and Erica Kirk was in pageants and all of that stuff. That doesn't mean we're all supposed to evolve. So someone said that maybe losing her best friend changed her. That is a possibility, and you just got to look at the information subjectively.
USA. So 14 months from failed doxing website to one of the most powerful conservative youth organizations in America. Who made that introduction?
Because wait, Erica Kirk is right there. Next to Charlie, is that Erica? Maybe not, I don't know. Kind of looks like her. I don't know. I can't really tell, and I can't zoom in on this YouTube video.
Nobody's ever answered that publicly. She launched Brexit.
Ooh, you are right, Julia Brand. Just how this does connect. Just how earlier, how I was telling you that like an experience that I went through where I thought that I was dying for like a whole entire year. She also went through a similar thing where she had something wrong with her health. She had major health issues, and that is transformative, bro. You can't discredit the major health issues where death is on the table, or the fear of death is on the table in a legitimate way. That doesn't transform people. You have to give them credit for that.
Kanye tweeted, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks. Every conservative stage, every Fox News panel, the machine was running at full speed." And then December 2018, she traveled to London with Charlie Kirk for the launch of Turning Point UK. And that's another event we all know. The one where she was attacked over the Austrian painter quote. Now, I'm not going to repeat it because that's leftist stuff. You guys know what happened. Multiple TPUSA campus chapters called for a resignation. She would leave TPUSA in May 2019. After that, she joins the Daily Wire in 2021. So she basically...
I'll just point out, dude. Just because I can, bro. And this is just me. Remove religion. Remove ethnic groups. But those little hats look stupid as fuck, bro. Like, to be honest, I would hate it if I had to wear one of those little hats, bro. And just look at his eyebrows, bro. They just grow every time he lies.
Stays on script for 3 years. Then she clashes with Shapiro in March 2024 and then leaves. She posts, "I'm finally free." By 2025, she's calling Trump a chronic disappointment. She says she's embarrassed she told people to vote for him.
Well, there is some part of me that is embarrassed that I voted for him, but it's part of the journey. It's part of the awakening process. You're going to make mistakes, bro. You're going to, not listen to your gut or listen to the wrong energy source. You know what I mean? Because energy vampires are real. Energy consumption is real. And sometimes people just get caught up listening and consuming the wrong energy, right?
Goes fully independent, launches her own show, starts her own Epstein series. That's the career arc. From anti-Trump blogger to conservative overnight to TPUSA to Daily Wire to independent to the biggest conspiracy theorist in the world.
I mean, if I'm being 100 with you, that sounds like a full-blown, full-spectrum awakening. Let's run that back again. That sounds like a just definition awakening process. Let him say it again.
Starts her own Epstein series. That's the career arc. From anti-Trump blogger to conservative overnight to TPUSA to Daily Wire to independent to the biggest conspiracy theorist in the world.
Dang, if you just switch some of those description words for other description words, that probably for everyone resonates. That's exactly how the awakening process goes, bro. Because it was like I was this way, then I was that way, and then I did this, and then I was this, and then I had this thing happen. Then all of a sudden, I'm the biggest conspiracy theorist in the world. I talk about Epstein. I talk about Epstein every day. I posted a video earlier about Jeffrey Epstein and trauma amnesia. I post stuff about Epstein repeatedly. So, I mean, that, like I said, that just sounds to me like her awakening process. For me specifically, I didn't necessarily, that wasn't like, whoa, what, yeah, you're right. Why did she become no, that's just like what happens. Can I get some poop emojis if you agree?
But rewind to that London trip in December 2018. Because while everyone was talking about the comments, something else happened. Candace sat down at a dinner table next to a man she never met before. His name was George Farmer. So apparently, here's what happened next. The Turning Point UK launch was held on December 11th, 2018, at the Royal Automobile Club on Pall Mall in London. The person who organized this event was a man named John Mappin. He's the heir to the Mappin & Webb jewelry fortune, one of the oldest luxury brands in England. And he's a reported Scientologist. He's also a known QAnon promoter. That's who put together the event where Candace met her future husband. Candace had actually been in London doing media all day. She was taping Russell Brand's podcast that same day and showed up late. And at a dinner organized by Paul Joseph Watson, the InfoWars contributor, she sat next to George Farmer. He was the chairman of Turning Point UK, the British version of Charlie Kirk's operation. He was the money guy. He was already installed before Candace and Kirk flew over.
Okay, I do have to say this. With the people, with the things being said that Erica and, Candace is just, jealous of Erica. It seems as if she was like this, bro. She was an equal to Erica, actually. She was an equal to Erica, and their partners from across continents. Their partner got assassinated, bro. And all of a sudden, their partner's wife just so happened to take over and shit, Just pointing that out. She's like an equal. If Charlie Kirk was married to Erica and he was like the leader of TPUSA USA, right? And George Farmer was like the top of TPUSA UK, he was like the Charlie Kirk of the UK. That means Candace is equal to her, at least in the organizational sense of the whole entire structure, because they're on different continents, right? So they should be working as one, not as separate entities.
Candace later described it as love at first sight. December 12th, they have dinner alone. December 29th, George Farmer proposes to Candace Owens via FaceTime. 18 days after meeting her for the first time. February 14th, 2019, the engagement is publicly announced on Valentine's Day. In May 2019, George runs as a Brexit Party candidate for European Parliament. He doesn't win, but it tells you where his political ambitions are. August 6th, 2019, private ceremony. August 31st, 2019, the celebration at Trump Winery near Charlottesville, Virginia. Eric Trump's the president of the winery. And look at the guest list. Nigel Farage, the leader of the Brexit Party, John Voight, Charlie Kirk, Larry Elder, Paul Joseph Watson, and Jerry Falwell Jr., the president of Liberty University, who would later resign in his own scandal. They wore red Make Weddings Great.
I hate to keep trying to fucking say stuff that's contrary to what Mind Unveiled is saying, but he basically just explained the exact reason why what she's doing today is so impactful is because she was all up in the shits, bro. She was with the elites, bro. She was up in the fucking Matrix, bro. She was with the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. She's seen all of the shits, bro. You have to give her that, bro. Because now what she's doing is she's like, I feel like now today, she's really saying some shit that resonates with a lot of people and how they feel today with the child sacrifice and Epstein and fucking Charlie Kirk's assassination, the war in Iran. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's seen the shit, bro. She was like, look, she just showed a picture of her and President Trump and her husband, bro. Like, she has been up in the mix.
In hats. From first handshake to wedding, 264 days. Less than 9 months. From first handshake to proposal, 18 days. And when asked why, George said he heard a voice telling him to propose. So a voice told him. Now maybe it is just love at first sight. Maybe.
I will say that it was love at first sight the first time I ever saw Queen Trip. I told her I loved her 3 days after I met her, and I met her in a different state. I was in a halfway house in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and she lived here in Utah, and we met on Facebook. The first year of our relationship was long distance. We only got to talk to each other on the phone because I was 600 miles away, and she would drive from Utah every couple weeks. 8-hour drive, sometimes in a blizzard, having to park and sleep the blizzard through to keep on driving to come visit me the whole time we were together. And I told her I loved her in 3 days. So the fact that he's saying that, something about him falling in love at first sight, I'm a firsthand experiencer of that exact phenomenon. So, and me and her are still together today. And this was in 2021. I know 2020 actually. We met on the internet and we're still together today, and we've created such a beautiful life together. I love my life today. I love my wife. I love my kids. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that just because he said that doesn't mean anything. And to be honest, I want you to know that I feel like this is actually a prime example of me showing you should think for yourself, because repeatedly over the last few months, I have brought this person on to this live stream, Mind Unveiled, and continued to just be mind blown and just down these rabbit holes and so consumed with all the information he gives. And this is the very first one after months and months and months of watching his content that I'm sitting here telling you something completely different than what's being displayed. It's because I don't necessarily believe everything that comes out. I'm not like, oh, is she an op? Oh, she's on the other side. You know what I'm saying? I know what I know, and I know what I've heard. I know what I've seen. I know what I've watched. I've watched her for years. You know, if that makes sense. I'm just putting that out there for you. But I am kind of enjoying this.
Maybe God really did just tell him. But before you decide that, you need to know who George Farmer actually is.
This is the part where I don't have a whole bunch of information.
Because once you do, the 18 days starts looking very different. Okay, so George Farmer. Most Candace fans couldn't tell you a single thing about this man. His full legal name is George Thomas Stahel Farmer. Born in London, went to...
Listen, though. Listen about the Tate brothers, okay? Yeah, the Tate brothers are his good friend. And I can't say for sure, and maybe you're going to be like, oh, I fucking can't believe it, but I have been watching Andrew Tate for a long time. For a very, very long time. Do I agree with everything he says? Absolutely not. Just like every content creator, are there some content creators that just spew a whole bunch of shit, but every once in a while they just got some real truth? Absolutely. There's lots of those. And what he says regarding to the man. Now, do I believe do I agree with him when the Tate brothers talk about discrediting or dissing or taking away the divinity of the feminine? Absolutely not. I don't agree with that shit at all. I do believe in gender roles. I think that the divine masculine and the divine feminine have specific energies that they embody, which is like the protector, the nurturer, you know, stuff like that, the caretaker, etc. Is there truth in this scandal of sex trafficking? I don't know, bro. Do I think that the Matrix is attacking him? Yeah, I do, bro. Do I think that it's possible that we have been misled by him and that narrative? Yeah, I do. I don't know what to believe. Am I paying attention to it? Yeah. Sometimes he says some horrendous shit that I'm like, what in the fuck, bro? Sometimes he's like, says some shit that I'm like, fuck, man, you're right. But isn't that like how everybody is in a sense? I know that there's been some things that I've said that not everybody resonates with. It's all right. We have to move past the fact. Now, if he is a raper, if it comes out, if he gets convicted, right? If he gets convicted, we never got to see we know that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted. We have the documentation to provide it. But in a sense, I mean, you kind of gotta just see it out. Did Luigi Mangione kill homie Brian? We don't know really yet. Just like we're saying, we don't believe that Tyler Robinson killed it. Why? Because we can't definitively kill Charlie Kirk, because we can't definitively say that the evidence, we haven't seen the whole trial play out, right? It's similar. We have to, if we're gonna say Tyler Robinson didn't do it or Tyler Robinson did it, we have to see what both sides are presenting. And to me seems honestly that the Matrix is lying completely when it comes to the Tyler Robinson case, and a person like Candace Owens is giving more information than what the federal government and the Federal Bureau of Investigations is providing. So we're just like waiting that out. Well, we just got to wait out what's happening with the Tate brothers, because no one has provided any evidence. I've watched all of his stuff. I've watched a whole bunch of stuff about them stuff, and I have yet to see any evidence. Have I seen videos of him being aggressive with girls? Yes. Have I seen videos of him being disgusting and degrading girls physically? Yes. Do I condone that shit or approve that shit? That shit's fucking disgusting. He talks about being the top G, and that's beta shit. The divine masculine would never do anything to harm the divine feminine in any capacity. I do understand that as well, Pretty Ricky, about reports from children. I do understand that. And like I said, the only reason we even can sit here today and talk about Epstein is because we have the information. We don't even have the information yet, right? We have to see what the information is. And I do think, at least, in that aspect, we are getting at least Andrew Tate's side of what's happening. We're not necessarily getting the real side of what's happening on the other side, except for these allegations, right? And it would seem to me that if you think all the times that he has been incarcerated, that he wouldn't have been Epsteined yet, if he was part of like a huge trafficking ring. I can't say that he hasn't abused. I don't know yet. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So like, he has abused women. I don't know if the women in those videos that I've seen are children. I've heard the allegations. I'm not defending Andrew Tate. I'm not praising Andrew Tate. I'm just trying to give a prime example of questioning everything. If he turns out to be a raper, then he's a raper. And I hope he burns in hell with Epstein and Benjamin Netanyahu. You know what I mean? And Trump probably. Most likely, actually.
St. Paul's School, one of the oldest and most elite private schools in England, founded in 1509. From there, he went to St. Peter's College, Oxford, to study theology. Got a first-class honors degree, which means he wasn't just at Oxford to party. He was academically serious. But remember that name, Strahel. We'll come back to it. But first, his father. And where he comes from is a level of wealth and political power that most people have never been anywhere near. George's father is Michael Strahel Farmer, and as of September 5th, 2014, his official title is Baron Farmer of Bishopsgate in the City of London. He sits in the House of Lords. He is a life peer in the British government. Lord Farmer made his fortune in metals trading. His nickname in the industry was Mr. Copper, because at one point, his company was the single largest trader of physical copper and nickel on the planet. He ran this operation from 1989 to 2000. And in 2000...
Think about this, Pretty Ricky. What if Jeffrey Epstein's network was under threat? Wouldn't it make sense to try and pin it on someone who is alive? I'm just pointing that out. You know what I'm saying? let's take it away from the actual, let's take the energy away from the actual energy, and let's try and make it real for people so that we can deflect or distract, and let's pin it on somebody else that we, you know what I'm saying? You just got to think about it subjectively. Like, again, I'm not defending Andrew Tate and I'm not praising Andrew Tate. I'm still just trying to decide with the information available.
He sold it. Guess who bought it? Enron, for $448 million. Yes, that Enron. And what's wild is Lord Farmer cashed out right before Enron collapsed. He sold at the absolute peak. After
because also with that point about someone being an easier fall guy that they could put in the news who's still alive, still talking, still saying things, you also have to think about the consideration that I just spaced out actually. Dang. I just freaking zeroed out. Oh yeah, I remember now. Anytime you look up any of those key phrases regarding Jeffrey Epstein, like child abuse, sexual child abuse, human trafficking, child trafficking, guess what's also going to show up and probably show up more frequently than anything about Epstein, unless you specifically type Epstein. Oh, it's going to be somebody else. It's going to be Andrew Tate, who's all over the internet about being a sex trafficker. You know what I mean?
Enron imploded and destroyed thousands of people's pensions and savings. Lord Farmer walked away with $448 million and went on to co-found a hedge fund called Red Kite Group, which at
Apple Juice, I sent you a DM on Discord.
Its peak was managing $3.5 billion and was supplying roughly 15% of China's copper consumption. The family is worth an estimated £150 million. 12-bedroom London mansion, properties in France, Morocco, Belgium, and a large estate in Tennessee where Candace and George now live. Now here's the thing. How did Lord Farmer get his title? Lord Farmer is one of the largest individual donors in the history of the British Conservative Party. He donated over £6.4 million. Some sources put it as high as $8 to $9 million when you include all affiliated donations.
I don't know if you've seen them, bro, but I just got done tie-dyeing them. Sick. I'm pretty proud of my effort. That's the finished product of the tie-dyeing phase of the signature limited edition merch. Apple Juice purchased one, and then he also purchased one for us to give away on our live stream Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will be giving away one of each design. Yes, I will. Signature from me, Queen Trip, limited edition, tripoverdrip.shop. Let's go.
Served as co-treasurer of the Conservative Party from 2011 to 2015. And on September 5th, 2014, while he was still serving as party treasurer, he was created a life peer, Baron Farmer of Bishopsgate in the City of London, and given a permanent seat in the House of Lords. There's an investigation by Open Democracy that looked into this pattern. What they found is that every single former Conservative Party treasurer who donated at least £3 million was offered a seat in the House of Lords. Every one. And Lord Farmer, when the Sunday Times asked him about this directly, quote, "There has been a tradition of ennobling party treasurers," end quote. A tradition? And in the House of Lords, Lord Farmer has voted 81 times. He has never once voted against the Conservative Party whip. 81 for 81. Before the marriage, George was a partner at Red Kite, his father's hedge fund, from July 2017. He reportedly made £5 million in profit in a single month. After the marriage, the career gets interesting. He co-founded Redfield and Wilton Strategies, a political polling firm, in January 2020. Then he became COO and later CEO of Parler, the free speech social media platform, from March 2021 to April 2023. Then he became the executive director and shareholder of GB News, the UK media outlet, from September 2023. So that's hedge fund, polling, social media platform, news network.
Bam, just again to verify this, because he's up in it doesn't mean he's a part of it, but it does give exposure to Candace Owens from the inside about all of this shit: politics, big tech, social media, news media, etc., 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 etc.
All in 5 years, but publicly, I'm exclusively interested in faith. Now go back to the 18 days. Now can we be real? A woman who became conservative overnight in 2016, whose entire political career was 14 months old, who had just embarrassed herself with the you-know-who comments and was being pushed out of TPUSA, sits next to this man at a dinner his organization arranged, and within 18 days, the son of a lord, whose family is worth 150 million pounds, decides she's the one. Now the name. Shahel. Lord Farmer's full name is Michael Shahel Farmer. George is George Thomas Shahel Farmer. Every generation carries that name. The Shahel surname is Swiss. 61% concentrated in the canton of Zurich, records going back to the 13th century. Now, some of my viewers have claimed this is Swiss Templar bloodline. I'll have to look into that more. But what I can tell you is the name is Swiss and it's centuries old.
Okay, that means that when Candace Owens and George Farmer have talked about faith, he has a long history of knowing that aspect from the inside as well, from his family lineage. Like you can't discredit what she's doing today because of what her husband is and all of that stuff. Like I said, look at the information subjectively. 2 eyes to look, 1 eye to see. And if after this you don't like Candace Owens, that's for you to decide. And if you don't like her after this, then that's all right. We could still be friends. I still love you. You're still Team Human. We're still friends. It's nothing. We have to learn, like I've said many times, to just be able to disagree about things and still collectively have a good time together, enjoy our time together, and have conversations about things. Right?
And this family carried it from the continental European commodity trade.
But it is weird as fuck that he's connected to the Knights Templar. I can't discredit that. That's kind of sus. You're right. You're right. It's sus. You know what I'm saying?
Trading world into the British House of Lords in 1 generation. Okay, but let's talk about what George did at Oxford. Because this is the part that neither can...
I can agree that apple juice is better than orange juice because orange juice is too acidic, and when I drink it, it gives me heartburn.
Nor George ever talk about. At Oxford University, George Farmer was the president of the Bullingdon Club. Now, if you're American, you may not know what this is, but
do you know what the Bullingdon Club is? I don't know what it is.
If you're British, you know exactly what this is, and you know it means something very specific about a person who was in it. The Bullingdon Club was founded around 1780, all male, invitation only. You can't apply. You have to come from one of the wealthiest families in the country, and existing members select you. The uniform alone costs £3,500. So what do? They hold grand dinners at expensive venues, and then they destroy them. That's the tradition. Smash the place up, pay for the damage in cash. The initiation involves members invading your room and destroying everything you own while you watch. Police have been called to Bullingdon events. George Farmer was president in 2010 when police were called to Hartwell House Hotel for criminal damage. Okay, but here's why any of this matters. There's some important people in this club. 2 kings, Edward VII and Edward VIII. 3 prime ministers, David Cameron, Boris Johnson, Archibald Primrose, the 5th Earl of Rosebery, 2 chancellors of the Exchequer, George Osborne, Lord Randolph Churchill, Winston Churchill's father, Nat Rothschild. That's the photo they tried to suppress during their political careers.
Wait a second. Nat Rothschild? Okay. I hope this is public information.
I'm here to help with your questions or tasks. Let me know what you'd like to do next.
Yeah, wasn't Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump on Nat Rothschild's boat or yacht when they decided that they were going to purchase an island in Albania?
What I found, it appears that Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump first learned about Sazan Island in Albania during a yacht trip with financier Nat Rothschild. Reports suggest they were introduced to the island while on his boat and met with Albanian officials, which eventually led to plans for a luxury resort. There's no clear evidence that they decided to purchase the island right there on the yacht, but the trip with Nat Rothschild did play a role in sparking their interest and subsequent negotiations with the Albanian government.
Interesting.
Cameron, Boris, all of them. This club has produced more British heads of state per capita than any organization in the country. So for Americans, this is basically Skull and Bones at Yale. Same structure, same function, 3 US presidents from Skull and Bones, 3 UK prime ministers, and 2 kings from the Bullingdon Club. George Farmer was the president of it. Now we're just getting started. You know what's even crazier? This all connects to the files. There's an email in the EFT archives, EFTA 02416209. It's from a man named Nick Lees writing to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, Lees was close to Epstein. Epstein called him my boy. He was based in Singapore. And in this email, Lees is discussing British politics and he writes, quote, Eton, Oxford, Bullingdon running the country. What a wheeze. That's a private email to Epstein from a man he considered family. And in a separate email from the same Nick Lees, he introduces Jeffrey Epstein to a woman named Nicole Junkerman. If you know about Epstein research, you've probably heard that name. Junkerman is a known Epstein associate connected to Ehud Barak. Lees writes to Epstein, my great friend Nicole Junkerman is considering moving to Singapore. May I have her call you? EFTA 02414840. I'm going to call this one the Rosetta Stone. Prince Andrew writes to Epstein, quote, you should know that I was seeing David Rowland, my trusted money man who you should know from a long time ago. He saw Hugo Swire, the new Minister of State Northern Ireland, and Hugo asked him a very direct question about whether or not I was still seeing you. David Rowland, Conservative Party's largest donor and designated treasurer, forced to resign because the press called him a shady financer. Prince Andrew calls him my trusted money man, and Hugo Swire, a Foreign Office minister, is asking whether Andrew is still seeing Epstein. In the same email chain, Epstein writes to Andrew, I know you're seeing Jess Staley this morning. He's like family and can be trusted. Jess Staley, JP Morgan CEO, later Barclays CEO, like family. The documents show he visited Epstein's Island with his wife, flight numbers in EFTA 02025420. He sent his daughter's resume to Epstein. Epstein writes back to Andrew about Swire. I used to shoot with Hugo. His great friend, Nick Lees, is coming to see me next week. Shooting parties with a Foreign Office minister, and Nick Lees, who jokes about Bullingdon running the country, is the same Nick Lees Epstein then connects to Nicole Junkerman. Junkerman, EFTA 02342424, forwards surveillance tech updates to 2 people, Ehud Barak, former prime minister, and Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay. We are going to finish this tomorrow, but I just wanted to point out, these are a few thoughts that I've had to end this with. For one, I can show you right now documents, and I'm sure you guys have seen them, where Jeffrey Epstein was trying to create his own intelligence agency, his own network. So, if you were going to create your own intelligence agency, wouldn't it make sense that you would, or your own, secret society, wouldn't it make sense that you would pull people from other secret societies? So you can't really, you can't really fucking take into consideration that just because some people from George Farmer's name was involved in some stuff with Epstein, meaning that George Farmer is automatically loyal to this fraternity that he was in. It's possible. But at the same time, you have to think about what Candace Owens is doing today in the global network that the people she's up against is nothing compared to this thing on the other side of the ocean, I don't think. And you would think that potentially the things that she is saying would get her husband, who is in these groups because of his lineage, in a whole bunch of trouble. He would be, I don't know, taken out. He would be forced to make her quit. You just got to think about it like that. Like, does that mean after everything I just watched that I'm not sitting here waiting to be able to hear what she says today? Yep, I will be watching today. Her show, Candace Owens' show. But you just gotta, and just because I believe this doesn't mean you have to believe this. If you think she's a plant because her husband's connected to the Knights Templar, then that's a possibility too. But I love you guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. And if no one's told you today, I'm proud of you.